In the Bluegrass, it's all about hoops and horsepower. But with the Kentucky Derby in the books and the start of college basketball season months away, fans in the quiet outskirts of Lexington, Louisville, and Cincinnati need a fix. This weekend, they get it in the form of speed. A triple header weekend. All of NASCAR is here. We will be under the lights on a Thursday. The teams have been working under extreme conditions all day. 102 degrees with track temperatures hitting 120. Wow, easily the hottest day we have had at a racetrack all year. Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Setup. I'm Krista Voda. Nationwide Series practice just wrapping up. Pre-race festivities for this race beginning to take shape literally behind me. You know, here in the Bluegrass, they know all about winners. 3 months ago, the University of Kentucky won its 8th national championship in basketball. I used to work in Wildcat Country. Around there, you can only wear Kentucky blue. Who will be crowned champ tonight? That is the answer we are getting you closer to. What do we have in store for you over the next half hour? Here's how we're getting you set up. One of our title contenders, James Busher, recently had new competition on the track. His wife, we will explain. And did you know our Truck Series points leader owns his own production company? We will unveil his latest project, and it's a little bit risque. And the kids will not like this. Summer vacation just started, but we're going back to school twice. All of that and one of the most competitive fields in history on this track tonight. Ray Dunlap and Hermie Sadler will be covering the pits. Ray, let's start with you. Who are you watching?
Well, Chris, I'm going to tell you about the Turner Motorsports trucks, because here comes one of them that's really good. That's Nelson, or that'd be Miguel Paludo. I'm going to work my way up here to show you the Nelson PK Jr., who just recently won. I'll tell you about the fact that he got that nationwide victory, and his truck victory may be following, just like his teammates James Busher did earlier this year. Hermie?
Well, Ray, tonight there's also a 4th Turner truck in tonight's race at Kentucky. Kyle Larson, 19 years old, making his debut tonight. He'll have to do that starting from the rear. Made a error in shifting during practice. They had to change the engine in that truck, and he is not the only one. Championship contender Ty Dillon also made a mistake in practice, over-revved his engine. They changed engine prior to qualifying. The 3 truck will also have to drop to the rear. It'll be fun to see both of those drivers make their way to the front.
I love it. Hermie with a surprise guest, Kyle Busch, one of our Truck Series owners. Thanks, Hermie. It's been 3 weeks since the trucks were on the track. Johnny Sauter won that race. He is still trying to make this list, though, the top 10 in points. His teammate Matt Crafton moves up 2, so does Joey Coulter. The top 5 remain the same, 25 points separating them. Justin Lofton increases his lead over Timothy Peters. Peters, one of the drivers, still looking for victory lane. Still to come on the setup, Justin Lofton scored his first career win last month in Charlotte. But what has he been doing with his free time since then? Rumor is he's courting a new love. Plus, James Busher has also won this year. He's lost a few too, but racing, his first love, also led him to something and someone else.
He walked up to me and said, "How's your car today?" And I looked at him like, dude, really? Like, that's all you can ask me? Because I knew he was just talking to me to, like, be my boyfriend or whatever.
The Setup is brought to you by Camping World and Good Sam. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, and roadside assistance. And by Mobil 1, the world's leading synthetic motor oil brand, Mobil 1. James Busher, one of 7 different winners we've had in 7 different races in the Camping World Truck Series this year. Busher's number 31. There you see it on row 2, along with Austin Dillon. Up front, it is Matt Crafton and Nelson PK Jr. making up the front row. Welcome back to Kentucky. You know, James Busher grew up in Texas. He used to dream about returning to race in front of his home state fans. He has gotten to do that, and most recently, a few weeks ago, got to do it again with a bonus race against someone else named Busher, his wife.
One day after a Legends car race, I see James walking towards me with one of his friends. I had never talked to him before, but I always saw him eyeing me, and we were younger. And he walks up to me and said, "How's your car today?" And I looked at him like, dude, really? Like, that's all you can ask me?
I thought it went a little smoother than that, but, you know, I didn't know what else to talk about other than race cars. That's kind of what we had in common. She was a race car driver, and I was a race car driver, so it was a good opening line, I guess. It worked. She talks bad about it, but it worked.
It did work, obviously.
My last year racing Legends, she was also racing Legends.
Yes.
And we raced together, I don't know, a couple times a month. She would try to beat me.
I beat you sometimes.
You beat
I
me
wouldn't say a
sometimes.
lot, but I beat him.
She was pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
She was really aggressive. I remember we were running 1 and 2. I was leading, of course.
Oh, really?
Oh, I was leading, and she was running second, and we had a restart, and she just laid into my back bumper and laid on the throttle and about pushed me straight into the wall. And I had to do everything I could not to crash, and I'm pretty sure you passed me on that one.
Yeah, I did.
We got to borrow some cars from the Lone Star Legends driving school to be able to bring back some old memories, and got to go back out to the 5th mile where we met and have a 20-lap showdown. And I had to start with a clear disadvantage.
You're a professional race car driver. I'm not.
I do this every week, but we started even, but technically I was a lap down. Chris got to practice all day and kind of get back in the swing of things, and I didn't get any practice, and we went green. She
Oh my
almost spun us
goodness,
both
I don't
out.
even know what happened. Like, I guess I was excited, and I saw the green flag, and I just gassed it, and the car was like, ah! I was like, we're dead.
I
We're
saw
done.
out of the corner of my
We're
eye
not gonna race.
that pink 14 disappeared because the car turned sideways, and I thought for sure that she was going to take us both out. But she held on to it, and I just went for it. There was no mirrors in the car, so I didn't know if she spun out or not. And the next time I came around, she wasn't sitting there anymore, so I had a feeling that she was right on my bumper. I caught her. I was on your bumper for the last 4 or 5 laps. You know, my car was so out of control, I couldn't figure out how I was going to pass her without hitting her. Trying to set up a pass on the outside, and the outside line was not working. I went for it, and I almost spun out, but it's tough to pass in these cars, and I haven't done it in a long time. So I think my little brother threw the flag early trying to let you win, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. Why don't you just go ahead and say I won?
Chris won. She beat me. She won. I lost.
And there you see the Bushers. Looks like Chris has retired her fire suit for the evening. And I don't know, I think James was coming up with a lot of excuses there for why he got beat by his wife. But Busher did actually do what Nelson Piquet did last week. That is winning in the Nationwide Series before winning a race in a truck. Busher won the season opener in Daytona before winning his truck race at Kansas. He is currently 4th in points. Speaking of Nelson Piquet Jr., did you know he has more followers on Twitter than the likes of Kevin Harvick, 5-time Jimmy Johnson, even our own Michael Waltrip? International love knows no bounds. Neither does the Weekend Warriors Productions. That is the production company owned by our points leader, Justin Lofton. Usually they make music videos, but recently Justin had another idea.
Justin Lofton will win tonight in Charlotte.
Lofton gets his first win in the Truck Series.
Charlotte was a really big deal for us. Finally got my first truck win. Everyone knows that we've done videos in the past and we want to do something again special for the win.
Basically, the concept behind our video is wanting a Truck Series trophy for quite a few years now. And I'm so happy that I actually have it, that basically what we're going to do is recreate me going out and taking the trophy on dates.
So for the audience, they're gonna have no idea what's going on. Justin's, addressing what you would think would be hopefully a beautiful woman.
All the things you normally do with a girl you'd like, and we're just gonna make it with a trophy.
Roll audio, Justin. Justin on set. Justin is going to be setting up for his intimate bedroom setting with the trophy.
Never thought I'd have a camera crew in my room filming me laying on my bed.
So this is Justin's line for this scene.
Are you comfortable? Because I can lay here with hours for you.
4 hours with you. Yes. Yes.
Are you comfortable? Comfortable. Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable? We gotta find a different word.
Take 17.
Are you comfy? Because I can lay here with you for hours.
That was actually pretty good. All right, this is when the fun starts. Now we're gonna start arguing here. This video starts with him blowing the champagne wide open. He doesn't want to get his garage dirty. So we're gonna put him in the middle of the street. We're here on Lake Norman in North Carolina. Justin's got the picnic set up with his trophy for another hot date. I want you to look right into my heart when you say this.
Not through it, like usual.
Yeah. All right, so we just finished the lake setup. We are on to the last shoot of the day, where Justin takes the trophy to a fancy, fancy dinner. All right, so you're gonna take a sip of it. Come off the sip.
I've always dreamt about this moment and how beautiful you would be. But now that I have you, you are so much more beautiful than I ever imagined.
God, that was pretty good right there.
Yeah, I just need a little alcohol.
That's a wrap.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you want to see the full-length version of our video, go to loftonracing.com. It'll be right there on the homepage for you to check out. Brett?
Justin?
To a successful shoot.
And to many more of these bad boys.
I sure hope so.
Thanks, Speed.
That whole thing made me a little uncomfortable. Yes, Justin, comfortable. With the race weekend starting a day early, you will have to tune in Saturday for Race Day Fueled by Sunoco. Be sure and join Johnny, Kenny, and the rest of the gang Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, right here on Speed. Coming up next on The Setup, how can a sponsor help your kid balance his bank account or teach him how to fill out job applications? This driver is going to tell you. Plus, from learning life skills to putting them to work in the job force, we will introduce you to a graduate of tonight's race sponsor who is now working for a race team. Stick around.
The number 13 has long been a sign of tough luck. Just ask the guys who try to pass Johnny Sauter.
All drivers are busy, some more than others. That's Dakota Armstrong on the left. We'll talk about him in a minute. But Kyle Larson on the right of your screen has been racing every night this week and will continue that stretch this weekend. He's already won 2 races this week and is making his debut in NASCAR's Top 3 Series here in the truck race tonight. Welcome back to Kentucky. Oh, and did we mention he's only 19 years old. A lot of young guys here in the Truck Series, but not just behind the wheel, also up and down pit road behind me. One young man, for him, the door to NASCAR was simply opened by choosing a college. He is a graduate of tonight's race sponsor, the University of Northwestern Ohio.
I want to be like this row of guys right here that worked with Ty Dillon and his race team. As you look at them, there's a lot of young guys. They started out with a dream, and it's all about having that dream and following that dream, but every one of us worked hard.
Having UNOH as a sponsor has benefited us and my race team more than just a relationship with a great school and a company. They've actually provided us with help and students that are really at the top-notch level of racing and ready to jump into a team like RCR.
UNOH is basically an automotive technical school. I went and signed up for the automotive high-performance program. They start you off with the basics, learning to do brakes and basic suspension, and then as you move your way up towards the end of the program, you end up building custom motors. What this shop is here, you learn to do at that school.
Adam Essemacher was a student that we acquired from UNOH. He spent all 2 years at the school learning and getting the highest education in racing.
Adam's a unique individual. He's kind of, I call him my diamond in the rough, but he's really a polished gem. I took him to his first ARCA race, his first day on campus. I got him hooked up with RCR when Ty started running ARCA, and he is just absolutely taken off from there. He's a natural.
We acquired him first as an intern last year in the ARCA series, and man, he just jumped in and knew all the right things to do. He's a young bright guy, and he's ready to learn, and he'll work his way through the ranks, and he'll be one of the greats in the sport.
If it involves tires, it's my job. So when I get to the track, I go purchase the tires, pick them out, put them in sets, which involves measuring them, putting them at the right pressures. Then during the race, when the crew chief decides he needs to make a change, he'll tell me what that change is, I'll make the change, and then those tires go on the car with the pit crew. I love it. I mean, you can't beat what Unoh stands for. I'm honored to be on the team that they decided to sponsor and be their kind of representative for the school.
UNOH, not just a logo on the infield grass, they obviously have a vested interest in the sport and in this series. It'll be fun to watch Adam working with Ty's truck tonight. Of course, that's not the only sponsor teaching things in the truck series. You see the truck of Dakota Armstrong there and his sponsor, Everfi. Well, Dakota Armstrong grew up about 2.5 hours from this racetrack. He actually finished in the top 10 here at this race last fall, and he feels like his truck, especially with that sponsor, is one young people should keep their eye on.
And there aren't that many platforms that reach out and touch as many families as NASCAR does on a weekly basis. And so what we've started to see is the work that Thor Sports has done in the 98 car has given us the opportunity to expand. And what that really means at the end of the day is that thousands of kids are going to get skills that they never would have gotten otherwise because it's raised the awareness.
Everfi is online, learning education. They're in a lot of schools across the United States. They're really big into teaching kids that don't really know a lot, but how to buy their first house, buy their first car, how to get a credit card, how to do loans, all about interest. So it's stuff it's real life skills that you should be learning in schools.
Our technology is always free to families. It's always free to kids. We like to think that the students who are growing up today are digital natives. They have grown up with an iPad in their hand, with a computer in front of them, with a second screen on their lap when they're watching TV. It is so baked into who they are.
The way they've put it into this game with an avatar, it's a lot of fun. It's a way you can learn, especially with kids. They can learn really well, so that's a lot of fun, and hopefully everyone gets to try it.
There you see Matt Crafton, driver introduction stage. Matt Crafton, the pole sitter for tonight's race. Of course, that's not the only activity going on here in Kentucky. It's a full house with a full slate of racing activities. Tomorrow night, be sure and tune in for Trackside at 6:30 Eastern, where our guest will be Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Wonder if he has anything to talk about. Yes, he is definitely in the headlines. We will get all the goods from him tomorrow on Trackside at 6:30. So who do you like in this race? So many contenders. Do you take a driver with momentum or a former winner? Coming up, this week's Fantasy Picks. We are making the final turn here on the setup from Kentucky next. Welcome back to the Kentucky Speedway. A lot of drivers watching this truck race tonight, including Mark Martin. This was a tweet he sent earlier today saying, yes, I'm going to be watching the truck race tonight on Speed. Should be good. Of course, we miss having Mark Martin out here in a truck. He actually told me he misses it as well. Time to check our fantasy standings now. Ray is still in the lead. There you see, but look at how close when we're really all bunched together. Of course, the big news, who won last week? This is monumental because now all of us are on the helmet. There he is, Phil Parsons, with his winning face. He was the winner. We're going to put him right next to his buddy Rick. Now all of us are represented on our fantasy standing helmet, as it should be. So now who will be added for next week? Well, we have to make our picks. Mikey, I believe you go first.
You got to like a guy who started 32 of these NASCAR Camping World Truck Series races, and he's finished in the top 10 16 times. That's
about 50%.
Right at 50%.
Yep.
That's awesome. He had 5 top 5 finishes. He was stuck on 5th as his best finish. Last time out in Texas, he upped that to a 3rd. He's on a roll. He's going to win soon. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do.
Joey Coulter's my pick. Hermie Sadler, what do you got, buddy?
Well, Michael, you got a lot of interesting statistics, and I like that. But I like momentum in fast trucks. And Nelson Piquet Jr. had a great run at Texas in the truck. He wins in the Nationwide Series at Road America last week, and he starts on the front row here tonight at Kentucky. I'm sticking with Nelson Piquet Jr. Krista?
Hermie, that's a good pick. I like that. But, you know, I like James Busher as my pick. Sure, he got beat by his wife in a Legends car at Texas, but he is strong here. He finished in the top 10 last year in this race and actually starts on row 2, starting third. Right behind me, I can see him. I can see the look in his eye. I think James Busher is the winner here at Kentucky tonight. Phil, can you do it 2 weeks in a row?
Well, absolutely. I had picked Johnny Sauter at Texas, and he certainly won that race. I'm going to go with a guy that's going to try to become the 24th different driver to win in all 3 divisions. He's won in the other 2 divisions already this year, the Cup Series and the Nationwide Series. He's won at this racetrack in the Nationwide Series. It's Brad Keselowski. He starts all the way back in 17th, but don't worry about that, because this race has been won twice by people starting farther back than that, including 22nd for Ron Hornaday. So Brad Keselowski is my pick, and I will go 2 in a row. Rick.
All right, very good. Well, you guys keep throwing out statistics. I don't know. I'll go with one statistic. My driver is going to start on the pole, and that's really good because already he's the fastest truck in the field, and I believe he will be the 8th different driver that will go to victory lane in 2012, and that is Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton's my pick tonight. Ray, who do you think is going to finish second behind Matt Crafton?
Well, Rick, I think it's going to be ThorSport, but in a different order. I think Johnny Sauter is the man tonight, and I can't believe I'm still at the top, and you guys keep leaving me these great picks. Johnny Sauter has won 5 races in his career. 4 have been on 1.5 miles. He's the man, especially when he's in this truck. T39 won last year at Homestead, and it won last time at Texas. Johnny Sauter, the winner tonight, Krista.
I mean, we're all so enthusiastic about our picks. That's what I love. But it really is hard to choose because we have so many tough drivers. We've talked about how competitive the field is, not just at this track, but all season long. It has happened 7 times this year. We are talking about 7 different winners in 7 different racers. Will we see an 8th tonight? It could be that gentleman right there. Ty Dillon has yet to make it to victory lane. James Busher has the UNOH 225. Gets the NASCAR weekend started here in Kentucky next on Speed.
When the Camping World Truck Series settles into the Bluegrass State, they know they've stepped onto hallowed ground. With soil so enriched with inspiration and tradition, this place is known to breed champions. Not your average thoroughbreds, no sir.
Well, there is something special in the air tonight. The exposure is heightened and the stakes are bigger than ever.
When these horses take to the circuit, lines will be drawn.
Green flag in the air, we're underway in Kentucky.
3 wide and 2 rows of them, man. These guys are after it. 3 wide, front of you.
It will be a feud as fierce as the Hatfields and McCoys.
20 just correct us. She didn't give you any room, and I'll do 3.
Whoa, Nelly.
Watch him here. Go low, go low, go low. Can't believe it, guys.
We've seen some big hits tonight.
Claiming a victory at Kentucky Speedway is as triumphant.
For Ron Hornaday.
Regardless if it's your 50th or your first.
It's amazing the response he gets. You can hear the boos, you can hear the cheers.
A win here is as timeless as the Derby itself. Hold on to your horses. The University of Northwestern Ohio 225 is coming up on Speed.
The Kentucky Speedway has long been a regular stop for the Camping World Truck Series. Last year, the facility hosted its first Sprint Cup race. This weekend, it is the Triple Crown again. All 3 series, 3 straight nights with the trucks in the paddock first for the UNOH 225 from Sparta, Kentucky. And to say it's been hot today would be a huge understatement. The expected high, 102 degrees. The track temperature for Truck Series qualifying was at 120 degrees. It is just now starting to cool off, but it has been a scorcher, especially for a lot of these teams. With all 3 series here, these truck teams did not have garage stalls for shade. Some of the hardest workers in racing are on these truck teams. There you see the truck of our most recent winner, Johnny Sauter, the race winner in Texas. Yes, some of the most talented drivers are in this series. Will we see an 8th different winner this season? It could be the pole sitter, Matt Crafton, looking for his first win of 2012. Other names in that mix, Ty Dillon, Timothy Peters, Parker Kligerman, Nelson Piquet Jr., Miguel Paludo, Ron Hornaday, Joey Coulter, so many that could make it 8 straight tonight. We will get you one step closer to the answer with this race, but let's take a look at our points. The top 5, no changes in those positions from our last race. You do see some movement there in the bottom 5 of the top 10. Todd Bodine fell all the way from 6th to 10th. We get you another step closer to the answer of who will be our next winner with tonight's pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Kentucky National Guard presents our nation's colors. Remain standing as Pastor John Roberts of Raceway Ministries offers tonight's invocation.
Let's pray together. Dear Lord, we want to take this opportunity to thank you for the many blessings that you bestow upon us. Blessings like the freedom that we enjoy in these great United States of America. And we'd like to pray for the men and women that protect that freedom. Father, we'd also like to pray at this time for the people of Colorado and the surrounding states that are being affected by the wildfires. And we'd like to pray for the firemen that are working to contain those fires. Father, we pray for a safe event tonight, and we pray these things in your Son's holy and precious name. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Tony Holt and the Wildwood Valley Boys.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Kentucky knows a thing or two about horsepower, but which thoroughbred will come storming out of the gates tonight? One of the bumpiest tracks on the circuit is ready to give these jockeys a wild ride. The boys get us ready to race in the Bluegrass State next on Speed.
Have a great race, everybody.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World and Good Sam. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, and roadside assistance. And by the all-new 252 horsepower Ford Focus ST. Welcome back to Sparta, Kentucky, as we're getting ready for tonight's race. It's the Unoh 225. What do you need to know about what's going to happen a little bit later? Well, you've got to be able to make the right decision. Keep up with a very, very warm racetrack. As well as, well, this is a pretty tough field. And we've got 7 races, 7 different winners who will be in victory lane tonight. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you once again. Phil, we talk about 7 different races, 7 different winners. This is an extremely competitive field tonight.
It really is. As a matter of fact, we've got a great chance at setting a new record. We've already established a record of 7-7 in the 18th year of the series. And I'm telling you, 4 of the top 5 qualifiers, Michael, have not been to victory lane yet this year. We've already had 3 first-time winners this year. I really think we have a great opportunity to go 8 for 8.
There's 7 guys on that list, Phil, that's never won a race before that could win tonight. So you're right. It's going to be an amazing race. But the guy that I really want to hug if I win this race is my crew chief. Can you imagine all the decisions he's had to make? We're going to run 225 miles. I need that truck to work on the long run. But heck, I practiced in the sunshine today. The track's going to continually get cooler and cooler, and at the end of the race, we're going to run the fastest laps we've run since we've been in Kentucky. The crew chief is going to be the key to victory tonight.
And not just sunshine. The sun has been beating down on this racetrack. Temperatures upwards of 103 degrees earlier, so it is going to be a tough racetrack to try to keep up with. Phil, you talked about guys looking for victory lane. Ty Dillon, Joey Coulter, Parker Kligerman, Nelson Piquet Jr., all young drivers have been so close but haven't made it to victory lane yet. Tonight could be different. Let's get the engines fired. We go for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome our Grand Marshal, President of UNOH, Dr. Jeffrey Jarvis.
Drivers, start your engines.
36 trucks have just come to life. We thought it was hot earlier. Well, things are about to heat up on the racetrack. You're not going to want to miss the green flag. It's coming up next right here on Speed. Welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. About ready to roll off of pit road, and you see the front row. Matt Crafton, Nelson Piquet Jr. will bring the field to the green flag. We're hearing early on that Crafton's going to choose the outside line. He has choice since he won his 7th career Camping World Truck Series pole earlier today.
Yeah, if momentum has anything to do with anything, Nelson Piquet has it. What a great job last week at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, winning that nationwide race.
See there in row 2, James Busher and Ty Dillon. I want to look back to row 3. Phil, Johnny Sauter, talk about momentum. Finally got the monkey off his back after a terrible start to this 2012 season. Got that Hot Honey's Curb Records truck in victory lane at Texas, and he could be hot this night.
Absolutely. Here's Eddie Sharp, teammates back in row number 5. Our point leader, Justin Lofton.
Ron Hornady's won at this racetrack 3 times, but he'll have to start back in row 6 for this one.
There's the Watermelon truck. Ross Chastain had a good qualifying run sideways in that truck in qualifying, still got it up in the top 15.
Joey Coulter, Tim George, teammates for RCR back in row number 8.
Brad Keselowski will be coming toward the front. You can count on that.
Without a doubt. Don't worry about where he started. Don't worry about that.
Max Gresham, Jake Crum making up row number 10. Very competitive qualifying run earlier today.
I like qualifying. Max Gresham told us this place is just rough. We try to tiptoe around that. It's bumpy. It's got character. He says, it's rough.
Kyle Larson, one of the drivers that will be making his Camping World Truck Series debut tonight, but he'll have to go to the back of the field because he was a driver who had a problem shifting during practice earlier, overread the engine. They had to change the motor on that.
Yeah, we had a couple of those. Ty Dillon also in the 3 truck.
Which is crazy unusual. You never hardly see that, but I hear the guys were trying to knock it out of gear and knocked it into the wrong gear. So learning process when you're that young, just getting going.
Going to ride along with a few different trucks. Michael, take us to this one.
Well, this is a Steakums truck, and I told y'all in my fantasy pick why this kid was going to win tonight. Joey Coulter's on a roll, finished 3rd at Texas. Watch him drive from the 16th starting spot and have a chance to win this race late in the going.
Mikey, we're also going to ride along with Jason White. He's only 15 points out of the top 10 right now in points. He's had 2 top 5s here in the last 2 years, so he'll start his Gunbroker.com Ford from the 12th spot.
We're going to creep on up toward the front and ride along with the last winner in the series. That's Johnny Sauter. Drove a truck to victory lane at Texas. He's starting 6th. He'll have a good chance to do so again tonight.
We're also going to ride along with winner this year, James Busher from Kansas. 4th in points, only 23 points out of the lead. He will start his Exide Chevrolet from the 3rd spot.
Should be a pretty impressive view of what's going to take place at the start of this race. Let's talk about the particulars of this race with our track description. A 1.5 mile racetrack, and it's in the form of a D. Why is that, Michael?
Well, it's because the front straightaway goes out like a D.
Well, how come everybody thought it was because of your brother? Had something to do with it.
He did design it. His tattoos over on the back straightaway. He had a lot to do with this place getting up and going. And what a fun place it is to race. Wide turns. You got a lot of character in the track, I like to call it. A lot of high speeds, too. These guys are going to be approaching 180, 90 miles an hour here.
You see the race distance, 150 laps at pit window, 50 to 55. The caution would have to fall exactly right to only make this on 2 stops. Look for a 3-stop race.
3-stop race is what Phil Parsons is calling. Let's go down to pit road and Hermie Sadler.
Well, Rick, Nelson Piquet Jr. is making his 38th career start in the Camping World Truck Series. He has yet to be to victory lane in this series, but he did get his first NASCAR win in the NASCAR Nationwide Series last week at Road America, taking the checkered flag in a huge win for Nelson Piquet. How huge, you may ask? Well, his native Brazil changed the airtime for a soccer match in his native Brazil so they could watch that race live back at home, and he rewarded his fans with the victory. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Hermie, you know, Nelson Piquet is one of those guys we expect to win at any time, but there's one guy I think climbs to the top of that list. And you know I'm a bit of a stats guy. I keep track of a lot of stuff, and one of my favorite stats is that we've had 23 different drivers that are on the list of winning in all 3 of NASCAR's top divisions. But look at these 2 names that are in the absentee ballot. Brad Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson, they don't have a win in trucks yet. Now look at this list of all the drivers that have done it and how many victories they've had over the years. There are some really big names with some really big numbers. And I think tonight Brad Keselowski puts his name on that list and becomes driver number 24 to win in all 3 divisions.
It's going to be really hard for Jimmy Johnson to win here tonight.
I don't think he's going to get to victory lane tonight.
But he'll be watching, though.
Yeah.
Somebody spelled his name wrong. 5 times deserves to get his name spelled right, I think.
2 by 2, the trucks work their way around this 1.5 miles, getting ready for the green flag to fly. They'll go around one more time before that flies, but Matt Crafton will start up front, and you're seeing the 3 of Ty Dillon start to drop back.
He and Kyle Larson. Kyle's doing the same thing down on the inside, so they'll go to the back of the field. You know, Joey Coulter talked in our qualifying show here on Speed about how disappointed he was to start back in the 16th place and how hard it would be to rebound and get to the front. Tells you how tough the competition is here. Ty Dillon has a bigger task to try to get back up there.
And pretty quick, too. He qualified 4th, but he'll have to, again, go back to the back of the field on this one. Look at the success that some of these drivers have had, not in the Truck Series, but in other series. Todd Bodine won here in 2002 in the Nationwide Series. And Brad, as you talked about, a driver who needs to get a win here in the Truck Series, has won in the Nationwide Series here.
Yeah, Parker Kligerman, Brad's driver, won here in the ARCA Series back in 2009. And James Busher also in the other ARCA race that year in 2009.
These starts are really intense, guys. We talked about the bumps in the road and how tough it is to race early in the going because the track's still hot from the sun beating down on it all day long. Watch for these first few laps, guys, side by side, getting loose. They haven't run in a big pack like that since they've been here in Kentucky, so it could be an exciting start.
And the groove's pretty narrow right now, guys. Expect that to widen out a little bit. You see where the rubber's been down? That's where they've been running.
So the first bit of strategy by Matt Crafton chooses the outside line for the initial start of this race. Field working their way out of turn number 4. The fans on their feet, and the green flag goes in the air. We're underway from Kentucky. Looked as though the 88 not up to speed as quickly as we saw the 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr.
He's getting a push from his teammate, though. That probably had a little bit to do with it as well, getting in front of Johnny Sauter. He knows he can get a little bit of push from Sauter. Sauter's going to make the move around the outside of Piquet, too.
I think Piquet got a little bit loose. Now they're 3 wide for second.
3 and 4 wide behind them as well as they go down the backstretch.
Look at Hornaday diving hard into the turn. Man, that's a hard corner to make when you dive in that low on that angle. He makes it happen.
He knows he has the best tires he's going to have here for a good while, and he made that move.
A lot of drivers running out of that preferred groove right now, trying to find some grip as we remain 3 and 4 wide going through the tri-oval.
He says, guys say it's only 150 laps. I'm going to have to get it done now.
Getting after it right at the drop of the green flag, and it's Thor Sport Racing teammates up front. Matt Crafton and Johnny Sauter battle for position back there between James Busher.
Hornaday still 3 wide.
Hornaday on the inside of a 3 wide battle.
Look how high these trucks are running. Man, that's unheard of. That was Ross Chastain all the way up in the gray. You wouldn't think there's enough grip there, but he hung on to her.
James Busher and the 6 of Justin Lofton battling for a spot. It looks as though Busher's going to take it away from Justin Lofton. Now Lofton battles back on the outside with the momentum.
Normally, most of the racetracks we go to, we see a guy go to the bottom. He stays down there, hugs that white line. Not here. They get in the bumps. They start bouncing up and have to move up the racetrack.
Now, Phil, I'm a fan of bumps. I think this is fun racing to watch. And as a driver, it's pretty cool. We hear some of the guys say, like Piquet. He said, I really enjoy running through the bumps. It's just different. It's fun. And it'll be really exciting as the sun continues to go down. Sparks will fly. These guys will be running faster than ever as this race winds down at the end. Watch for those bumps to play a big role in how this thing turns out.
I think he's moving the groove up himself.
Ross Chastain's decided that he's not going to go where the other drivers are going. He's moving a little bit higher around this racetrack. Here comes Busher again to the inside of Justin Lofton.
These guys have been battling since the drop of the green flag just a few moments ago. James Busher took that spot, and then Justin took it back.
Way up the racetrack behind him still. That's 0-8. of Ross Chastain going into uncharted waters.
Here's Ty Dillon. Remember, we'll watch his progress. Ty is already up to the 23rd spot. Started all the way at the back. In 4 laps, he's passed about 12 trucks.
Ty Dillon working the inside of the racetrack, trying to get by Paulie Haraka in the 5.
We talked about Kyle Larson going back there with him. He's not quite as experienced at this mile-and-a-half racing as Ty Dillon is. He's only moved up a few spots from his starting spot.
Paulie Haraka in that 5, a little different situation for him this year, or actually this race. He has Ted Musgrave that is helping him. He's spotting for him from up above on the spotter stand, and that's a former champion talking in your ear, so it's got to be a big help for Paulie Haraka.
Yeah, without a doubt. Paulie's had some problems trying to get to the finish of these races, and hopefully that's going to help that situation. I know they've worked together quite extensively all week long.
See Jason Leffler in the 18, just in front of Brad Keselowski in the 19.
Caught a glimpse of Brad getting by a couple trucks as they exited turn number 2.
Those two started 18th and 19th. Now Leffler running 12th and Keselowski 13th, but not for long. Keselowski moves to the high side, trying to take that spot away.
Michael, we talked about Brad Keselowski, and he would not stay back there very long. Started back on the 17th spot.
So Keselowski gets around Leffler, so he moves up into the 12th position.
We talked about what a strong start and a great drive by Ross Chastain. Smoke from underneath the hood of that truck. I think the engine has gone away on him. So
on the gauges, no noise, no nothing.
You can hear the disgust in his voice.
Watermelon's done.
Oh, we lost our watermelon guy.
Yeah.
But you know what's so cool about that kid? He no wonder he's so disappointed, Phil. He was going up where other guys weren't, making passes, running high, wanting to show people that he can drive one of these babies. And I love what I see out of this kid. Engine brakes, and he can't show what he's got.
Yeah, 2 DNFs already for the 0-18.
Look at those things sliding sideways and bouncing around.
Jason Leffler had his hands full there in that Dollar General Toyota number 18.
This is the first time today that the trucks have been on the track that the sun hasn't been beating down on the track. So most of the track in shade now, with the exception of the backstretch.
Keselowski moves all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack to try to get by Miguel Paludo. Was not able to gain any that time.
As we progress through this race, we're potentially going to see laps increase as far as speed.
No doubt. These guys will just get faster all night long, and that's going to be fun to watch, Rick, because talked about the crew chief and him having to make decisions that'll help these guys win this race. You know, if your truck is perfect and you come to pit road, your crew chief's probably going to have to make an adjustment because the track is just going to continue to change. So you got to stay ahead of this baby, make some smart decisions, even if your driver says don't touch it.
James Buescher looking to the inside of that 29 of Parker Kligerman, trying to take that 4th spot away.
155 miles an hour at the exit of the corner.
Is this going to get all the way up to 180 something?
Probably 175 anyway here, right? Getting close. 173 on the front straightaway for James Buescher.
Oh, you see Kligerman wiggling around there, and James has got to remain calm and just keep his foot in it, because you got to keep your momentum up here. These trucks punch such a big hole in the air. If you come up off that gas too much, it's hard to get it wound back up.
Really flat entrance to turn number 3 there, as you see James Buescher move to the outside of Kligerman. The bank really doesn't come in until you're already in the corner. These trucks have a tendency to get a little bit too loose getting in that corner.
So Buescher takes away the 4th spot from Parker Kligerman. It's Crafton, Sauter, PK Jr., Buescher, and Kligerman, your top 5. Crafton now with a 1.9 second lead over his teammate, Johnny Sauter.
We got a wreck over here in 4, right in the center of the racetrack.
Tomorrow night, trackside is the place to be. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will stop by and talk about his new Cup ride. That'll be the 17. You don't want to miss NASCAR trackside from Kentucky. He'll have a little fun with the folks. That's 6:30 Eastern tomorrow on Speed. Caution comes out, and a big accident there for the 09 of John West Townley. You see the back end of that truck almost completely gone.
You make pretty hard contact because of the 14-degree banking here. There's not enough bank to really cut you. If you get that thing sideways in the corner, you have a tendency to go out on that outside wall.
See if he just had it get away from him, or if somebody got into him.
The middle of our screen, he's got a little bit sideways right in the center as he was getting ready to get back in the throttle to exit the corner. And as we say, these relatively flat banks, these 14-degree banks, nothing much to hold it.
So it brings out our first caution of the night. John West Townley is going to bring that truck onto pit road and behind the wall to the garage.
We've completed 17 laps. You know, remember, we cannot make this race on 2 pit stops, I don't think, or it's awfully close. It would have to fall just exactly right.
You want a little gas, Phil?
Yeah, I'm thinking a little bit of gas. And again, these guys only had 4 sets of tires for the weekend. They killed one of those sets in practice, and they're starting on another set. So essentially, they have 2 more sets in the pits. I like the idea of maybe putting a little gas in now and save my tires for later.
I do too. Let's come get it.
Max
I'm
Gresham
for it.
in the 24, making his way onto pit road. John West Townley was running in the 19th position when he got up into the wall, and you guys have predicted it. The 88 of Matt Crafton leading the field onto pit road. Hermie.
James Busher brings the 31 truck to pit road. It'll be fuel only. Track bar down on the right side, a little bit free in the first run, Ray.
Johnny Sauter's truck very, very tight coming off. They want to make a track bar adjustment also. The 88 is here. They wanted to go fuel only for Matt Crafton and the Great Lakes Doors Toyota Tundra. Crafton has pit stall number 1. He'll get his service done. He will beat Johnny Sauter off pit road. They came in 1 and 2. That's how they left.
I didn't see anybody out of that whole group get a tire, Phil.
I didn't either, but they had some close calls as some of the guys were exiting their pit and other guys from the tail end of the field coming in their pit.
You take a look at the positions as far as racing off pit road. Pretty much everybody stayed right on course. Caution has come out for John West Townley when we come back to green flag. Race fans, Speed has teamed up with your favorite tracks to offer amazing ticket deals you can't get anywhere else. Why pay full price? Before you buy, go to speed.com/deals and see how much you can save. Be sure to check out our incredible inside deal for Watkins Glen International. Aaron's lucky dog will go to the 07.
Speed's got deals. Aaron's got deals. Aaron's giving laps away.
Just giving them away.
Jeff Agnew gets a lap back.
Free of charge.
We saw the 24 of Max Gresham make his way onto pit road once again. Hermie, what's going on with the 2014?
Yeah, much like Ross Chastain, the 24 of Max Gresham just cannot get a break. Looked like he was having his best run of the season. The oil pump belt broke on that truck. They're going to try to replace it, get him back on the racetrack. Not really sure how much damage, if any, is done to the engine, but it's an oil pump belt for the 24. Ray?
Hermie, I just ran up and down pit road on my end. I thought everybody had gone fuel only, but it turns out that Justin Lofton decided to go with right side tires. So the 6 truck with 2 tires, everybody else on my end of the pit road doing fuel only.
Justin Lofton looks as though he's going to restart in the 6th position, just outside of row 3. We'll see if it works out for him as they come through the trial, but once again, Crafton on the outside, Sauter on the inside. Green flag back in the air.
Boy, they're getting all seized up there. Look at them fan out.
Matt held him down there to make sure he got that advantage into turn 1 and caused a lot of congestion behind him.
It's amazing that we didn't get a chain reaction deal where somebody ran into somebody and the next guy ran into the next guy harder.
If we weren't at this big old wide Kentucky Speedway, we'd have certainly had that situation.
We used every inch of it, didn't we? To the outside wall, all the way to the inside of the apron.
Oh, we got a sideways truck. What a save.
Save it. Back around. It's the 11 of Bodine back in front of the field.
Clear behind you. Clear.
Everybody backs it down. And it looks as though it's a one-truck incident. Caution flag does come out.
I wouldn't count that as a save.
Now, that was a spin, but we have seen Ty Bodine spin before and come back and win.
Yes, yes, we have.
And it was here.
I believe it may have been.
I believe it was here.
So Bodine.
Oh, he was loose.
Entering turn 3.
Loose from the beginning. And didn't he spin at Dover
when he won earlier this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe that may be a good omen.
But we have to follow along.
Yeah.
Might be Todd's strategy.
And the best omen is nobody hit him.
Yeah, that's true. Look at that field that's bearing down on him. He's sideways, and he does a nice job of keeping it from going into the wall. Look at the job that Dakota Armstrong does. Wow. Around the top.
And Paul Hiraka as well. Ted Musgrave helping Paul Hiraka miss that incident.
I want guys, John West Townley spinning, Todd Bodine, a champion of the sport, spinning. They're on the edge. especially at this point in the race, because the place is still hot.
Right.
They're wanting to go as hard as they can, get all the spots they can. These guys are driving right on the edge, and every now and then, when you run on the edge, you go over it.
And that's what happened with Todd Bodine. We see him working his way back around the racetrack, taking that truck to the attention of his crew. The field will line back up 2 by 2. When we come back, the green flag will go back in the air. Welcome back. Still under caution number 2 here at Kentucky Speedway. The benefactor of this caution, the 24 of Max Gresham. We saw him on pit road, had an issue with his oil belt.
And he was just sitting there, lost 5 laps. And now he pulls out on the track, gets his oil pump belt on, and free lap back.
So still 4 laps down is Max Gresham.
But you talked about him having maybe his best run, or the guys on pit road did, of the year. This gives him a chance. Hopefully that oil pump belt will stay on. He can continue to learn. Even if he's 4 laps down, he just needs the track time.
I want to take a look at our American Ethanol Fast Fact. Always love to give you a little tidbit about what's happening. Here at this racetrack, the first winner was Greg Biffle, and he was the first NASCAR Series winner to win at this track back in 2000.
Yeah,
June 17th. Really good year.
Yeah.
Good day.
Your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. This racetrack opened with very much fanfare. Obviously, Jason White back on pit road, but your brother Darrell was so involved with the formation and the building of this racetrack and the designing of this place.
Jason White doesn't have anything to lose here. They were on pit road working on the aerodynamics of that truck. The Romeo window, a plastic piece of glass on the right side of the roll bar there that changes the aerodynamics, Ray, and so they decided to come back and get some tires, bud.
It was cool to see that, and Michael, also while we were in break, the 11 of Todd Bodine's Toyota Tundra came down. They raised the hood and adjusted the right front shock, opened it up a little bit. Todd said he felt like the right front tire wasn't really turning through the corner. Rick Gay, his crew chief, said, we'll continue to work on it for you, bud. He'll restart 30th right now, but mark it down. It was lap 22 when they pitted for fuel and got 4 tires, and they have made an adjustment.
He's had 2 spin and wins in his career. Could we see another?
And we've got a lot of time. I mean, we're only on lap 26 of 150 laps, so plenty of time for Todd Bodine to work his way back through the field. We've already seen some drivers work up from the back to the front.
Todd spun on lap number 82 here back in 2010 and came back to win.
Well, he's got a head start tonight.
Way head start.
Crafton, Sauter, 1 and 2. Green flag back in the air. A little calmer start that time, but they are 4 wide as they go into turn number 1. Here comes James Busher to the inside, trying to take the lead away.
How about Justin Lofton to the outside in that 6 truck?
Busher takes the lead as they go down the backstretch.
Matt Crafton said, I got a pretty good start, and here I am racing for 4th.
Parker Kligerman also moving in front.
Oh, Johnny Sauter sideways.
Sauter goes up the racetrack, catches it.
That looked a whole lot like Todd Bodine's spin, but Johnny was able to hang on to that baby. Timothy Peters talked all day long about what a great truck he had. You see him looking on the inside of Hornaday there, but he's got company on the inside of him. Here comes Coulter.
How about Brad Keselowski? He's in front of that group all the way up to the 5th spot already from starting 17th.
Timothy Peters moving up the racetrack and into the wall, the 0-1 of Jake Crum. Very similar looking truck to what we saw in the
early
0-9 of John West Townley, backing it in.
That'll get Max Gresham another Aaron's lucky dog. That'll bring him to 3 laps down.
Going to make something special happen here.
Ty Dillon already up in the top 15. He's being shown right now in the 12th spot. What a nice comeback from his starting at the back of the pack.
Ty Dillon, one of the 2 drivers who had to change motors. We take another look at why we're under caution.
Look on the inside. The 0-1's on the inside of Ty Dillon. Loses control. Ty does an incredible job saving that truck as Jake Crum made contact with him as he slid up the racetrack.
You know, either Ty has a good feel of that truck and felt that 0-1 coming, or his spotter did a nice job giving him a heads up, because you could see Ty had already started up the racetrack, giving the 0-1 of Jake Crum a lot of room, and it's a good thing he did, because he barely got out of that thing.
You could see the give, and that safer barrier did its job.
Ray Dunlap, what's the 3 team talking about?
On the radio all through this race, Rick, Ty has been saying his truck is extremely loose. He's really fighting it coming off the corners, especially. Now, he's got his father, Mike Dillon, being the spotter up on the top today, and he is trying to Normally, Kevin Hamlin has been his spotter, but that changed this week as Kevin Hamlin now will work with Casey Kane in the Sprint Cup Series. So now, for today at least, Dad Mike Dillon calling the shots from the roof.
Remember, this is where Ty made his debut last year in the Camping World Truck Series.
There's Pop Pop, Richard Childress in the infield on one of the haulers. Again, this time it's Jake Crum into the wall, bringing out the caution. Under our third caution from Kentucky Speedway, this time it was the 0-1 of Jake Crum who got into the wall, but he wasn't the only driver who had his hands full just after that most recent restart. Take a look.
Check out Johnny Sauter. Gets a run down on the bottom field. We talked about these restarts and starts being really tough. You're in a big pack. You got trucks all over you. Johnny Sauter's got a chance to win this race, but watch. It almost goes away for him right there, and he could have took his teammate with him.
Yeah, and Matt Crafton did not pinch him down either. Johnny had plenty of room. Just got loose. Let's listen.
Whoa, look at that thing turn, and then he catches it. Just barely misses his teammate.
Clear coming inside. Got a line of them down there.
See all the momentum he loses here.
We talked about that before the race. They pack these things together. Heck, they had full of fuel, old tires. That makes them difficult to drive as well. So a lot of things stacking up against these guys.
Yeah, typically, you want to match the fuel with the tires. If you put if you fill it with fuel, you want new tires. If you have old tires, you don't want that full of fuel. Because of the length of this racetrack, of this race, and how many sets of tires they get, this is a bad combination where they basically almost everybody in the field put fuel in with no new tires.
Ray, has the 13 radio been pretty entertaining up to this point?
It's always fun to listen in to Johnny Sauter, guys, but I'll tell you, he's pretty happy with that Hot Honey's truck when he goes into 1 and 2, but he said 3 and 4 are just evil. He said it feels like he's got a flat tire every time he enters into 3, and that it bounces like a basketball. His crew chief, Joe Shear Jr., said, we'll work on it for you. We're still in pretty good shape. They roll off in 6th.
Yeah, not bad. After that big wiggle, he's going to restart in the 6th spot. How about young Kyle Larson has been able to make the move up to the 15th position after starting in the back?
Not bad. Just like Johnny Sauter, that's a good move for that kid. Ty Dillon has only made it up to the 12th spot, so he's been able to pretty much match what Ty's done. So great job for Kyle.
Yeah, a lot of talent doing a great job. 3rd in points in the K&N Pro Series East, including a win already at Gresham.
This time it's Busher and Lofton making up row number 1. Busher working his way down the racetrack, trying to pinch the 6 down a little bit lower. Green flag back in the air.
Brad Keselowski jumps to the inside of Matt Crafton.
Parker Kligerman trying to give that 31 a little shove as they work their way into 1 and 2. Lofton very strong on the bottom of the racetrack.
These guys don't wait around to make a move in the trucks, do they? As soon as they throw the green flag, you're going to get all you can get right now. Love the action.
Matt Crafton was leading this race before that first caution. Now he goes high. He's slipping around up high. And how he finds himself back on the tail end of the top 10.
Oh, one into the wall for.
Is that PK?
Nelson Piquet Jr. in the 30. Doesn't look like he hit very hard, but right up against it. We see him 3 wide, 4th position. Timothy Peters on the bottom of the racetrack. Joey Coulter in the middle. Matt Crafton up on the high side.
Well, it didn't scare PK. We know that much. He's still hard in the gas.
Slow down, and he has it.
Ty Dillon working to the inside of that 88 of Crafton, 4th position. Ty's probably saying, I'm going to stay on the bottom of the track for a while. I don't want guys drifting up the track into me.
Well, he almost drifted up the track into Matt Crafton. Matt had a big run on the outside, and Ty found himself in a really vulnerable spot there. And look right behind Ty Dillon, the guy that was in the wall on the last lap, Nelson Piquet Jr.
2 and 3 wide once again, coming through turn 1 and 2 and down the back stretch.
They race like this every lap, as hard as they can go, because the races are so short. You better get it all done right now. Some guys started in the back. We saw Joey Coulter with a poor qualifying run, but a fast truck in practice today. He's on the gas.
Miguel Paludo in the 32 working to the inside of that 81 of David Starr. Let's go to Hermie.
Yeah, the 22 of Joey Coulter is one of the fastest trucks on the racetrack. He started back in 16th position. He's made his way up inside the top 10 and continues to make passes. Kyle Larson also as well started in the back. Remember, he made that engine change. He's been very quiet on the radio, but 2 young drivers, very impressive so far, are the 4 and the 22.
Say, okay, the track temperature is coming down. We heard it's already closing in on 100 degrees as opposed to what we saw earlier, 120 plus. wouldn't there be more grip on the racetrack? Because right now it seems like everyone's sliding all over the place.
The answer to your question is yes.
Undoubtedly, but it gives more grip to the front tires, Rick. These trucks are set up so much around that front suspension, how that truck goes down the racetrack with the nose right on the ground. So when you add more grip, the end that is most positive is going to get the grip first. That's the front end. The back end is sliding around. So these teams actually figure they might get a little bit looser as the night goes on. And guess what? They're going to get faster too. And that's a heck of a combination.
And again, we still have the phenomenon of the full of fuel and old tires too.
So a lot more weight in the back of these vehicles on older tires.
And I'm not going to explain all that to my driver. I'm just going to say, I think this will be a really good combination for you here. Hang on to that, baby.
We'll get you tuned up on that next pit stop. We'll put tires on the next time.
Ron Hornaday running the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get by the 13 of Johnny Sauter. Here comes the 88 of Matt Crafton once again. Looks like he's getting a little momentum back.
Yeah, that was a tough start for him because ever since he fell back to just outside, right on the edge of the top 10, he's just marched right back through these trucks.
He really has his hands full on the restarts. So he drives it in there right beside Ron Hornaday. He doesn't lean on it too much because he knows how loose that truck gets. That's an experienced move right there.
It reminds you of his teammate Johnny Sauter down in Texas. Remember when Johnny couldn't really make an aggressive move on the bottom? Feels like maybe that's the same situation for the Crafton truck. Those trucks are a little bit loose, but when you get them in clean air, they're really fast.
Right now it's James Busher out in front of Parker Kligerman by 1.3 seconds. Hornaday running in the 6th spot, just outside the top 5. It's held by Lofton, Keselowski, and Sauter. Sauter holding on to that 5th spot, but now it's Hornaday looking to the inside once again for position number 5.
Hornaday's got a great truck. Timothy Peters, too. He's back there just behind Matt Crafton. He's been fast today.
We talked to Ron Hornaday during our qualifying show. He said, I really don't understand, as he makes the move under Johnny Sauter, why we don't really have the speed. The truck feels really, really good. Well, now it's showing up that that truck is good.
And look at this. Matt Crafton to the high side makes it 3 wide. As they go into turn number 1. Crafton making the pass on both Sauter and Ron Hornaday.
Woo. Power move. Look at Hornaday tucking right in behind Crafton. Hornaday worked so hard to get around Sauter. He did get around Sauter, but he didn't gain anything.
Look how hard he can drive it in the corner there.
We don't see anybody else running down there either, guys. Ron Hornaday's in a lane all by himself. Everybody's kind of taking the middle road, and Ron's getting it down on the bottom.
Here comes Timothy Peters to the inside of Johnny Sauter, trying to take that spot away. That is for the 7th position. Hornaday has the 6th spot.
With that run, Johnny gets through the center of the corner from the high side, though. Her teammates behind them, the 22 of Coulter and the 3 of Ty Dillon. Ty making a great move to the inside. Started all the way back at the back of the pack, now already up into the top 10.
Talked about Kyle Larson moving up from the back. He's kind of plateaued right now at that 15th spot, just behind Todd Bodine.
Yeah, Todd got around Kyle on the last lap, so Todd rebounding from that spin has a fast truck. He's making his way back toward the front. It's going to get crowded at the front eventually.
Certainly, as he restarted in the 30th spot and only took 7 laps to get back into the top 15. Now Todd right now running 14th.
Nelson Piquet Jr.
just outside the top 10 and 11th, and oh yeah, he ran into the wall already.
Or very close to it as he was coming out of turn 4. He's not afraid of it, though. He works his way on that high line once again as we see side by side with Dillon and Coulter. Again, those two are teammates out of the RCR stable.
Remember how good that truck of Joey Coulter's was in practice. We had 2 practice sessions here earlier today, and he led both of them.
We saw that time Ty Dillon almost having the left side tires down on the yellow line, working his way through 1 and 2. I talked with Nelson Piquet Jr. earlier, and he said, a year ago, I was able to almost hook the left side tires down on that apron, and it was going to help me turn. He said, this year, I can't do that. He said, did they change the track? I said, I don't think so.
Oh, Mother Nature changed her a little bit, though. Rough winter and a lot of heat here early in the summer. This thing has given up some grip, maybe created a few more bumps along the way.
Right now, it's smooth sailing for the 31 of James Busher, out in front by a second over Parker Kligerman, Justin Lofton, Brad Keselowski, and Matt Crafton. Those are your top 5. Already 3 cautions. It's been an eventful start to this one, but Busher, the benefactor, out in front. Welcome back. James Busher continues to lead. Now he has a 2-second lead over Parker Kligerman. When we went away, it was a 1-second lead. Justin Lofton Now making his way to the inside of the 29 of Parker Kligerman, but
not so
doesn't
fast,
have
Ricky.
the grip down there. And Parker Kligerman's going to hold on to second for now.
Reminiscent of the 2009 ARCA Racing Series battle for the championship between these two drivers.
Hermie Sadler.
Well, Rick, right now both of Brad Keselowski's trucks are in the top 5, but the 29 of Parker Kligerman may have a potential problem. They think the battery is going dead on that 29, and they have told him if it keeps on skipping, he's developed a little bit of a miss, to switch to battery number 2. So they do have 2 batteries on that truck, but a potential problem for Kligerman. His boss man, Brad Keselowski, is up to 4th in the 19, running very, very well. A little bit tight on the racetrack. They're talking about adding some tape to the nose when he comes to pit road. Engine water temperature only about 200 for Brad Keselowski.
Okay, he has big problems right now with that 88 of Matt Crafton that Matt drove by Brad Keselowski just as Hermie was finishing up his report to take over that 4th spot. We've been watching the scoring monitor, Michael, and that Matt Crafton's truck has been the fastest truck just about every single lap for the last 10.
Yeah, and another really strong truck just in the back of the top 10 is Joey Coulter. He seems to have gotten that thing lined out too, and every time he goes by, he's one of the top 2 or 3 fastest. So you can see Lofton really working hard to the bottom of Kligerman. It looked like he had him, man, on that one when they went into 3 2 laps ago, but couldn't hold on to it down on the bottom. We saw how difficult that is to do, and
he's going to try her again, though.
And we're seeing the rubber being laid down in this track getting wider. So the track is widening out, a little bit more room for these guys to race on.
They're going to be using every inch of it. We're seeing a lot of guys run up to the edge of the gray. As you mentioned, the black we looked at the very start of the race was fairly narrow. It certainly has widened out probably about 50% over what it was when we started.
Most of the field came onto pit road at lap 18, and we've already got to lap 55 now, so about 37 laps that we have gone of green flag racing.
These guys were having quite a battle down the front straightaway. 3 wide with a lap truck of Clay Greenfield. Looks like Joey Coulter was able to come out of it okay, but a little bit tense there for a minute.
Johnny Sauter was able to take over that 7th spot from Timothy Peters. Joey Coulter back in 9th right now.
And Joey Coulter was so disappointed with his qualifying effort. He knew he had a great truck coming in, was one of the fastest in both the first and second practices, but wasn't able to back it up in qualifying. So now he's had to work from the back of the field up to the top 10, and he's going to have his work cut out for him now as he's got some pretty stiff competition just in front of him.
See the different lines the trucks taking the corners. Johnny was happy right down on the bottom, while there's the battle for 3rd. See if Matt can make another move toward the front. He's really fast, Phil. You've already talked about the fact that every time he goes by, he's one of the fastest trucks. There's 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, look at the separation. It was just 2 laps ago that Parker Kligerman looked like he was in jeopardy of losing second to Justin Lofton, and now he's got about a 5-truck lead. And look at Justin Lofton wiggle up high. That allows the 88 of Crafton to get by.
Yeah, with ease. He just drove by him as Justin Lofton was chasing his truck all the way up towards the top of the racetrack.
Matt Crafton says, good. He slipped and got out of my way, because you know how hard it is down on the bottom, and Matt's like, I don't have to deal with that. That's cool. I'll go get another one.
James Busher setting a pretty blistering pace right now. His last lap just over 32 seconds. Right now we have 22 trucks on the lead lap. Ryan Sieg running 22nd.
Ooh, Lofton got loose again. He was going to try to make a move on the 14 of Brendan Newberry. Got loose again, had to get out of the throttle.
Look for Keselowski to have a big run on Lofton as they come down the front straightaway because of Lofton losing his momentum. And there he comes.
Brad Keselowski all over the back bumper of that 6. Looks as though he's going to try the high line. See if he can get by the 6 of Lofton, as well as that 14 of Brendan Newberry, who's just in front of these 2.
Brad's going to use that 14 truck of Newberry as a pick and just drive right on by.
So Keselowski takes over the spot, moves up into the 4th position. Now it's Busher, Kligerman, Crafton, Keselowski, and Lofton, your top 5.
Once again, Matt Crafton, the fastest truck on the racetrack.
Well, I don't want to, pat anyone on the back early on, but how about Krista? She picked James Busher. He's out front.
Sounds like you're patting her on the back to me.
3rd. I mean, I'll I'll definitely say that she did a great job picking Busher.
Yeah, Matt Crafton right now the fastest truck on the racetrack in the 3rd spot. And by the way, that was your pick.
Hermie, by the way, just outside the top 10. I don't want to point out anybody that might not be able to have a top 10 finish, but he's just outside the top 10. James Busher has a 2.6 second lead over Parker Kligerman, continuing to work around some of the slower lap traffic now.
Matt Crafton just ran a sub 32-second lap. That's one of the faster laps, Michael, we've seen in the last 10 or 15 laps.
And he's the only truck on the track able to do that. You can see him closing in inch by inch on Keselowski for that Kligerman for that 2nd spot.
Yellow. We got a spin over here in the center of 3 and 4.
Yep, 0-7 of Jeff Agnew into the grass. So the caution comes out for the 4th time tonight. Agnew brought out caution number 1. Excuse me. It was the 0-9 of Townley that brought out caution number 1. This is the first time Agnew's brought the caution out.
Yeah, pretty good timing now. 61 laps complete already. That'll give us time to get some tires on these things, Michael.
We need them too. We're slipping around. We're seeing guys spin out. This time when we give you gas fill, we're going to give you some tires to go along with them. So it should be a lot better this time.
Nice job by Cale Gale to get by Jeff Agnew.
That's why you can't ever decide which way you're going to go till you get there. You see the drivers make decisions right at the last second. If you just say, I'm going low, that could be bad. You better just wait as long as you can before you make that final decision which way you're going.
Saw Kyle Larson also making an evasive move to the high side to get by. Mighty Mouse waiting for Matt Crafton.
Mighty Mouse is mighty fast too. Crafton up to the 3rd spot. Bunch these babies back up and see who can deal with the restart the best. We've seen Crafton struggle. Can he put that behind him and get a good start?
Remember, they're going to have new tires with full of fuel, so that should be a better situation for these guys.
So the field will line back up behind the pace truck right now as they'll be making their way onto pit road as soon as it is open. More than likely open this time since the 0-7 of Agnew was able to get off of the racetrack and not cause any issues at the entrance to pit road. So we're hearing that pit road is now open. And you're seeing the 31 of James Busher lead the field.
Whole world again.
On to pit road. They pass the orange cone, the commitment cone as they go on to pit road. Let's go down to Hermie.
Rick, first on my end will be Parker Kligerman. They'll take 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for the 29. Still worried about the battery issue with that truck. Also the 31 of James Busher. They love the clean air. There'll be no changes, 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for the 31. Ray?
Matt Crafton at the bottom of your screen in that Menards Toyota Tundra. He said on his last restart he had a little bit of problem with the shifter, like it would not stay in gear. They're keeping their eye on that. They said, let's go 4 tires here. It'll be a half a pound of air into the right front. They'll come around here to do the left sides. Crafton rolled into the pits in 3rd. We'll see if they can make up any spots. Busher is going to be the first one to go off of pit road. Crafton will have a drag race. Looks like he'll be 2nd out ahead of the 29.
Yeah, very close there between Crafton and the 29 of Parker Kligerman. Looks like Kligerman might have got the nod at the line.
Great job on pit road by the 22 team, getting his truck off 5 spots ahead of where he was.
So a lot of positions made up for Joey Coulter on pit road. That's a lot easier than passing on the racetrack. Stay with us. Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Mobil 1, the world's leading synthetic motor oil brand. Mobil 1. And by Ram Trucks. Guts. Glory. Ram.
A lot of action on pit road, guys. It's always intense when you come down and grab 4 tires. And check this out, Phil.
Watch now. The guys are going to take the tires off the right side. Watch the tire carrier. That's him right there. He's going to try to bring both tires back across the wall. And they have to stay in contact with him. Watch. But he drops one. He has to go back and get it because they have to stay in his contact till he gets to the wall.
But watch the NASCAR official. They help if they can. If they can give a helping hand and not mess their job up, they'll do that. They save that tire from getting away, and he's running in the 3rd spot. That's a big deal.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter had to come back in because he had a missing lug nut on the left front. So that will kill all his track position as we get ready to go back to green.
Side by side. Busher on the outside. Kligerman on the inside. Green flag back in the air.
Going green at lap 66. You remember a year ago, but in 2010, Todd Bodine spun out on lap 82 and still won. So I'm going to be Johnny Sauter's cheerleader. Johnny, it's not too late. We can make this baby up.
How about Matt Crafton? Didn't have the best of restarts the last time. Now he's making the move on the outside, trying to take second away from Kligerman.
I think he has designs on more than second right now. He's going to get that second spot and go after James Busher.
Busher out in front, Crafton running second, Kligerman is third.
Talked about Joey Coulter's team having a great pit stop, got him some track position. He's taking advantage of it. Shuffles out in the 4th spot, started back in 16th.
How
Big
about
move for
Hornaday?
that truck.
Hornaday making it 3 wide on the bottom to get by Lofton and Keselowski.
Working their way into turn number 1. It's Hornaday on the inside.
Oh, it's so hard to do what Ron's been doing all night long. He's been running dead on the bottom, and you just really jeopardize the truck getting away from him when you're down there, and he wasn't able to hold off Keselowski.
Closing in on the halfway point of this race. That's how quick things happen around here.
Well, Lofton going way high will lose a spot or two. Ty Dillon gets by him. Here comes Johnny Sauter trying to make his way back towards the front. Johnny right now is being shown in the 18th spot.
We just saw David Starr pull away from him. And around goes Todd Bodine and Nelson Piquet Jr. Nelson Piquet Jr. into the wall. Down he gets to the 6 of Justin Lofton. More trucks coming in. So it was Todd Bodine and Nelson Piquet Jr. that were involved in it, and then Justin Lofton gets caught up.
Remember, guys, that's our point leader, Justin Lofton.
And Todd Bodine's truck's in serious trouble there, and it doesn't look like Lofton's is much better.
Going to give us a little bit of a shift in our points.
I think we can get that all clearance. I just see it on TV. Just bring it back around here. Are all the tires up? All the tires up. We're a little...
See damage to the right front fender and that whole right side.
If it didn't damage that tire and that wheel, that suspension, let's see if we can see what happened here.
Oh, Todd just tries to dive down in the side like we saw Hornaday do a couple times and get sideways. A lot of guys. Todd went somewhere where he couldn't hang on to his truck, and look at the damage off the wall. PK into the side of our point leader.
Battle for the 10th position. What was happening here as we see it once again.
See, Todd jumps to the bottom. Looked like he was pretty much up beside Justin.
Look at this young man, Kyle Larson. He just snakes his way through there.
Wow.
He said, they don't do this on a quarter mile. This is crazy out here.
At 155 miles an hour.
Look at him snake through there. And also Cale Gale, Dakota Armstrong, all those guys doing a great job.
Tim George missing Dakota Armstrong as he veered to avoid this incident.
A lot of damage to the 11 truck, the 30.
Watch this decision Todd makes. He just says, I'm going inside.
I'm not sure Justin really knew he was there. He did not run into him, but he squeezed him all the way down to the bottom. Some great driving by a bunch of guys to avoid this. Watch Caleb Holman go in between those trucks.
I think Kyle Larson's mad at it when he saw what was happening. He said, I see a hole and I'm going for it, and he made it through it.
Elation 1 week ago for Nelson Piquet Jr. and now destruction to that race truck. He slides up, hits the wall after Bodine gets into the 6. And welcome back under the 5th caution of the evening. This time the benefactor will be Brennan Newberry, 22-year-old out of Bakersfield, California. Get a lap back. That'll put 22 trucks on the lead lap. That is if Justin Lofton can stay out there on the lead lap.
I think he'll be able to stay on the lead lap for now. I don't know if there isn't any damage to that right front tire. He could be able to hang in there. On the last caution, Pauly Haraka got the Aaron's lucky dog, and he's inside the top 20. So a good break for that young man. And he did a great job missing that crash up in turn 1 and 2 as well. So,
Ray, we see a lot of damage to the right side of that 6 truck. What's the team talking about?
Well, Rick, at first they thought it was really just all cosmetic, and then they found out that the toe is off a little bit, but there may be a much larger problem. Justin said he thinks he may have broken the transmission in that crash. He said there's all kinds of noise in it. It'll still go into gear, but he just has a fear that it is going to fall apart on them shortly. So we'll keep an eye on that. They're going to string this thing to try to set the toe on the right side, but if the transmission is damaged, that could be tough for them in the points.
Yeah, let's take a look at the points as they're running on the racetrack at this time, and that's with Justin Lofton still scored in the 20th position. How about Timothy Peters moving to the top?
Look at that.
15 points separating the top 5 right now as we run.
That's 15 positions. separate the top 5.
We had the same type of battle late into the 2011 season for the championship as well. This is just good stuff.
About one race separating your top 6. Matt Crafton just outside. There's Nelson Piquet's truck being pulled back into the garage. Stay with us here on Speed. And welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. Check out and subscribe to our NASCAR mobile alerts. Get the latest NASCAR race results, breaking news sent right to your phone. Text NASCAR to Speed 3 for Speed NASCAR text alerts, written by Good Sam Roadside Assistance. Let's go back trackside to Hermie Sadler.
Nelson Piquet Jr. behind the wall, 3 wide on the racetrack. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, I mean, I just saw the replay on the camera. Just looked like 17 went and got into the 6, and then they got into me. I mean, nothing I could have done apart from not being in that position that back far in the field. You know, I mean, I was struggling with the truck. The beginning of the race was okay, but after that, struggled after the restart, and just never could pick up the grip again. I don't know. It was loose. It was tight. A bit of everything, and just frustrating because it's hard for the championship. You know, I'm gonna have to recover a lot, but yeah, think about the next race now, and you know, have a new truck for the next race. So
that's a very disappointed Nelson Piquet Jr. Ray.
Well, Hermie, Todd Bodine had been on quite a roll, a 5th, a 3rd, and a win, and then Texas you blew up, and today a wreck. Todd, have you had a chance to see the replay yet, and what happened?
Yeah, I saw it. It started. I thought Justin was blowing up. I mean, I caught him so fast, I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if he got loose off of 4 or what. Caught him real fast, thought he was blowing up, so I went under him, and obviously he wasn't blowing up. Pulled down on my side right there. I mean, he's got plenty of room outside him. He's got to learn to give some space here. We talked to the rookies about it this morning. When you get that close and that tight on somebody, you're just taking all their air, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. So, shame. I hate it for Toyota Care. It's come on for 4 races, and you know, we got a tore up truck.
Okay, pace car coming off. We're about to go back to green. Todd Bodine out for the day.
Busher on the outside, Crafton on the inside. Green flag back in the air.
Great restart by James Busher. He's able to pull out in front of Matt Crafton, but here comes Brad Keselowski alongside his truck he owns.
3 wide as they go to turn number 1. Keselowski on the bottom of the racetrack. Hornaday just above him.
How about Timothy Peters up to the high side, trying to get by Kligerman?
Is Ron Hornaday finally going to pass someone on the outside? It looks like he's thinking about them running in on the outside of Matt Crafton. Truck's been really strong on the bottom.
How about Joey Coulter in the 22, able to get by that 88 of Matt Crafton? Coulter up to 2nd now.
Remember that last pit stop when his guys picked him up 5 spots that gave him the track position he hasn't had this entire race.
Started back in the 16th spot, has been fast, and now he's finally got the track position with that fast truck.
Just to clarify, Nelson Piquet Jr. mentioned the 17, but it was actually the 11 he was talking about that got on the inside and got into the 6. 17 of Timothy Peters still out on the racetrack.
Parker Kligerman lose the front end of that truck, started pushing off turn 2, and it pushed right into the wall.
Sparks coming out from underneath the 29 now. Saw it going through the turn.
Saw Ty Dillon make the pass on him. That moves Ty up to the 7th spot. Remember, we talked about falling to the back of the pack wasn't necessarily the kiss of death. Ty Dillon's proven us right.
For Todd Bodine, it was. He spun out, got himself back in traffic, and then dove down into turn 3 underneath Justin Lofton. In Justin's defense, he had no idea that Todd could have jumped into that hole that quickly. That was a really aggressive move, and I don't blame Justin for that.
They continue to race, nose to tail, side by side. Out in front, Busher. In front of Coulter by 7/10 of a second. Crafton, Hornaday, Peters, your top 5, and you see some great side-by-side racing. Cale Gale in the 33. How about the run by Joey Coulter, just staying in front of the 88 of Matt Crafton?
Yeah, I think Matt Crafton had a run on him, wasn't quite able to pull the pass off.
But that's a real good truck. Watch this, how fast these things will jump away from you. Look, it just jumps out of the groove for Parker Kligerman and into the outside wall. Pretty hard contact there, Phil.
Sure was. See, Timothy, he was following Timothy Peters. See how high Timothy was. Parker was just a little bit higher than that and ran out of room.
Look at Matt Crafton all over Joey Coulter.
Birdsong in that 22, looking for a line, seeing if he can get around Joey Coulter for that 2nd spot. A pretty good run by Ron Hornaday, also back in the 4th position now.
Look at Ron, right to the bottom every turn. He likes his truck down there. That's fun to watch. Different lines, and Ron's making it work.
Comfortably up in the top 5 right now, and 4th has a little bit of a gap over that 5th place truck of Timothy Peters. We're seeing some fast laps now, Michael. Only about 0.4 of a second off our pole that last lap for James Busher.
Yeah, we started out running right around a 32 flat lap time. Now we're down to 31.50. We might wind this baby up running faster than the pole speeds.
Temperatures cooling off, track cooling off, but the action on the track is definitely heating up.
Got a good glimpse of Jason White. Jason right now is running back in the 16th spot. Remember, he made a couple extra pit stops on an earlier caution flag.
James Busher, Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, Ron Hornaday, Timothy Peters. Then it's Brad Keselowski, Parker Kligerman, Johnny Sauter, Ty Dillon, and Jason Leffler. They're your top 10.
Just outside the top 10, that kid Kyle Larson is up to the 11th spot from the back of the pack. That's so cool to watch a young man show up here and be able to race with these guys. Not only race with them, but race through them. He's come all the way up to 11th. There he is.
And again, a young man, Kyle Larson, just 19 years old, out of Elk Grove, California.
Some pretty good company there. He's got Jason Leffler, the 18 truck, and Ty Dillon right in front of him. Doing a great job here for his first ever start.
You can see Leffler's down on the inside of Ty Dillon, trying to take that spot away from him, battling for the 9th position.
But Jason driving for the team owned by Kyle Busch. Kyle won this truck race here 1 year ago. Jason got a little bit loose down there underneath Ty.
How about the 4 of Kyle Larson? He's going to pass Jason Leffler
into the top 10.
So a great run by Kyle Larson.
I'm telling you guys, I saw this young man down in the garage area earlier today, and I didn't know who he was at first, and I didn't think he was old enough to have a license yet. And then you hear about all the racing he's doing, winning races in the K&N Series, racing sprint cars and midgets all over the country, and certainly knows how to drive one of these trucks. And you can see there he's a young man and doing a great job.
And amazingly enough, a lot of times when a driver will make their first start in the Camping World Truck Series, it's going to be on a short track. But not with Kyle Larson. He's on a 1.5-mile, very fast racetrack, very tough.
And he's running very well. I think what enabled him to do that is the fact that he ran the ARCA race at Michigan, a 2-mile track, just a couple weeks ago.
You could hear the spotter giving him a lot of advice, and that's great advice he's getting right there. He said, did you see the 18 get loose under the 3? Just beware. When you get down there, your truck's going to want to do the same thing. So be steady and be careful, but when you get down on the inside of them, beware.
A learning experience for Kyle Larson. And right now, the one who's educating the field is James Busher. He's got a 1.3 second lead over Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, Hornaday, and Timothy Peters. They are your top 5, all chasing Busher. Welcome back as we ride along with race leader James Busher. Take a look at our American Ethanol Fast Fact. Ethanol is the cheapest, cleanest anti-knock ingredient we have for today's higher compression engines. American Ethanol. Busher has a 1.2 second lead over Joey Coulter, Matt Crafton, Hornaday, Peters, your top 5.
Hey, right now we've got the 31 of Busher leading this race, the 22 of Coulter second. They're both 22 years old. Can somebody 22 years old win this race?
I think it's possible, but it hasn't happened for quite some time. You normally have to be over 46.
8 of the last 10 winners here have been 46 years of age or older.
How about an interesting driver change that's taking place, Ray? What's going down on pit road?
Well, Brian Silas had to jump out of his Rockingham Speedway Ford, and he was overcome by heat. They said possibly it was something that he ate. He was very violently ill. He has actually gone to the infield care center, and Ross Chastain, who is out of this race because of a blown engine, is jumping in to drive for Brian. It's been an interesting week. Brian and his wife welcomed their brand new baby on the 26th. That's Braden Walter Lee Silas came to this world, so a lot of joy for Brian a couple of days ago. Today, not so much, as he had to crawl out of the cockpit.
And so that'll give a little more seat time for Ross Chastain.
Check out these two. They're running our leader down. Joey Coulter and Matt Crafton have both been faster than James Busher over the last few laps. And look at the run that Coulter gets off turn 2 there. Leaves Matt behind.
And that was the fastest truck on the racetrack that last lap.
Your top 3, Busher, Coulter, Crafton. Then Hornaday and Peters, your top 5. How about a guy breaking into the top 10, though? Kyle Larson now running in the 9th spot, Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, and we talk about how important laps and experience are in this type of racing for a guy like Kyle Larson. Obviously having a very solid night, and he's learning a lot now about what lines to use on the racetrack. And what he did when the 3 truck of Ty Dillon started catching him on the racetrack, he simply moved up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, took the air off the nose of Ty Dillon, and has slowly started to pull away again. He has a lot of experience on this team with his crew chief, Trent Owens. They're talking to him lap by lap. The only unique thing is they're doing all the talking. The driver's not saying a word, but he is driving a very, very smart race so far.
How about what he has been able to do already this season? 3rd in the K&N East points. He's got a win at Gresham Motorsports Park. Finished 13th in his ARCA debut at Michigan. Looking to improve upon that in his first NASCAR start, at least in the top 3 series here in the Truck Series.
As you can see, he swept the 4 Crown Nationals at Eldora all the same night. That's Sprint Cars, Midgets, and Silver Crown. Incredible effort by this young man.
Yeah, nominee for last year's Speed Performer of the Year. Pretty impressive young man. And in front of Ty Dillon, who's been consistent in the Camping World Truck Series since Daytona.
All top 10 finishes for Ty this year, each and every race.
So an impressive run for young Kyle Larson. We see Timothy Peters just in front of Brad Keselowski.
Those top 10 finishes just isn't quite enough to get you the point lead, though. Used to be consistency, especially in the trucks. You better win some races if you want to be up in front of the points.
Timothy Peters holding on to the 5th spot. Keselowski trying to find a way around him.
And as we run right now with the trouble that Justin Lofton has had, that 17 truck of Timothy Peters is being shown as our point leader.
Has about a 9-point cushion over James Busher, who's leading this race. Closing in on 50 laps remaining. We talked about the fuel window being anywhere from 50 to 55 laps. So if a caution were to come out or we have green flag pit stops, everyone would be able to make it from here on in.
You know, most of the field last pitted on lap number 63, so we're only about probably 15 laps away, 15 to 17 laps away from a green flag pit stop.
And if you throw in a green flag pit stop, any of these guys you think will take a gamble and maybe just get 2 tires, or you got to have a lot of gas anyway, maybe take the time to go ahead and get 4?
I think you got to fill it up anyway, Michael, because you're going to have almost fill it up. You're going to have 35 laps or so left, and you have to figure for a possible green white checker as well.
Hadn't heard a whole lot out of any of the teams complaining about tire wear. The tires seem to be pretty consistent, hang with the guys pretty well, so be interesting to see.
You know, we're 37 laps into this run here, and James Busher still running below 32 seconds, which were some of the best laps we saw early in the race on fresh tires.
Last time by, James Busher was the fastest truck on the racetrack, 31.939, and it went, the guys who were 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, they had the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fastest laps.
Probably how it's supposed to be.
And right now, James Busher catching up on the slower lap traffic. He goes by Paulie Haraka in the 5. Again, impressed with what Paulie Haraka is doing and what he's been able to accomplish in this race already. Working with Ted Musgrave, wants to get to the end, wants to see the checkered flag. That's something that he hasn't been able to do quite a bit this season.
Well, he got an Aaron's Lucky Dogs inside the top 20. Did a great job missing that big crash with Todd Bodine and Nelson Piquet Jr. So Ted Musgrave has helped that young man already, and I imagine that help will continue to grow as well.
See the speeds that James Busher continues to carry into the turns. 173 miles an hour when he entered that turn. And he has a 1.6 second lead over second place Joey Coulter. We see Tim George Jr. into the wall in the 2.
That is going to bring out our caution. That puts everyone in the pit window. We've completed 102 laps.
Knocked into the tire right rear behind. Knocked straight forward.
See a lot of damage to that Applebee's Chevrolet for Tim George. Tim was riding along on the lead lap, having a nice solid run.
Was in the 14th position. Take a look at what happens down on the bottom of the track.
Was trying to get by Miguel Paludo, got a little bit loose, had to chase it up the hill. Fortunately, Miguel was able to get out of his way, and you see the contact into the outside wall.
So racing on the bottom of the track, trying to get back onto pit road so that they can work on that truck.
See the tires starting to shred now, which is not going to do a whole lot more damage to that right rear quarter panel.
Sheet metal rubbing up against the right rear. So as it shreds apart, he makes it onto pit road.
From bad to worse.
It's our 6th caution. This time, Tim George Jr. bringing out the yellow flag. Now, we talked about how important this stop is going to be. We saw Joey Coulter the last time they were on pit road make up 5 positions. Now you can't have a mistake on pit road if you want to win this race.
And Johnny Sauter went all the way back to the end of the lead lap. He's raced all the way back up to the A spot. That team needs to give him the stop of the night right now so he can jump up there and be in contention. If you're leading the race, this is perfect timing for you to come to pit road, get your tires, and be done with pit road.
Let's see how Joey Coulter does this time. The field on pit road. We go to Hermie.
Rick, what a drive it's been for Joey Coulter so far tonight. He has reported to crew chief Harold Holly. He is loose in, tight center off. It'll be 4 tires, Sunoco fuel and air pressure adjustments. The 31 truck of James Busher a little bit free on entry. Just a small air pressure adjustment and fuel for the 31. Ray?
Ron Hornaday at the bottom of your screen told his crew chief Jeff Hensley, give me half of the adjustment that you did last time and I think we'll be good. They're going to go with 4 tires there. Air pressure adjustment on the right front. On the right of your screen, Matt Crafton, once again, he was in pit stall number 1, but a couple of trucks must have gone with some strategy. Crafton is going to roll out about 7th or 8th. The number 1, the first truck off pit road was the 3 of Dillon.
Yeah, Ty Dillon and the 17 of Timothy Peters had to play some strategy because look at the positions that were made up. Ty Dillon was able to make up 9 positions.
And I love that right now, Phil. If you haven't been able to gain any track position all night long, and there's a chance to steal some, let's swipe it right here.
And we saw how fast these trucks were with 35, 40 laps on their tires.
So around goes the 2 of Tim George Jr. brings out the caution. The final pit stops we think have just taken place. Welcome back to the University of Northwestern Ohio 225 from right here in Sparta, Kentucky. Kentucky Speedway. Out in front of the field coming off pit road first is Ty Dillon. So he's going to lead the field back to the green flag. Saturday, NASCAR Race Days live from Kentucky. We'll break down Matt Kintz's decision to leave Roush Fenway Racing. Our experts debate the move and tell you if Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is ready to fill the former champ's shoes. That's NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, right here on Speed. Let's go back trackside quickly to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, just as I suspected, the number 3 Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet went with right side tires only. That's how they got their track position. His truck's still a little bit loose, so they made a wedge adjustment, but he leads the field.
That wedge adjustment was needed because I haven't seen the speed out of this 3 truck of Ty Dillon to be able to win this race. But, man, track position changes everything at times.
And clean air does too, Michael.
We'll find out how it works out for Ty Dillon and Timothy Peters right now as they come to the stripe on the wall. Green flag back in the air. Dillon with a great restart.
Great jump by Ty Dillon. He's now going to drive to the inside. How about Busher on the inside with 4 tires?
Jason Leffler on the outside trying to battle for that 2nd spot as well. Busher with the strong move at the bottom of the racetrack. He moves up into 2nd now as he goes down the backstretch.
Oh, and Ty's trying to crowd him down, but James Busher's having nothing of it.
So strong is the 31. James Busher back to the front in front of Ty Dillon.
See Matt Crafton all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack inside of 3 wide with Timothy Peters and Coulter for a moment.
There's Johnny Sauter trying to recover from that pit road penalty. Timothy Peters, his start didn't go so great on that restart either, Phil.
Ron Hornaday somewhat out of position now as he's running the higher line around the racetrack. We've seen him at the bottom pretty much all race.
Ty Dillon settled in the 2nd spot. Remember, only 2 tires on that Bass Pro Shop Chevy. Just cannot match the speed, though, those 4 tires that Busher has, it doesn't look like.
Well, his truck was better when he had the same tires as the rest, and now he's got better tires than some, and he's going to be hard to guard over these last 40 laps or so.
Keselowski and Coulter almost trading paint there as they went through the tri-oval. Saw Coulter hitting a bump, the sparks flying from underneath that truck.
Remember, a little bit of low air pressure on these new tires.
Oh, around goes Cale Gale, and the 29 of Parker Kligerman looks as though he got into the wall.
Straight, hold on, spin it, log it out. Good job.
Oh, good job to the very end.
Yeah,
It looked like he had that baby saved. And he hit,
boy. I don't think he hit nothing, did you? I hit hard on the left.
Yeah, you see the damage to the left front.
We think it might be the 4 of Kyle Larson that got into that 33. Take a look.
There's Kyle down on the bottom of the racetrack. He gets loose on the bottom, has to chase it up the hill, runs out of room, made contact with Cale.
Watch this job that Cale does. Uses the wall a little bit as an assist. Looks like he's heading in the right direction, but it just was out of control on him. And so close to keeping it out of that wall. Bam, right at the end.
See, Kyle Larson now drives down to the inside. He needs more racetrack because he gets loose down there. He chases it up the hill, then he makes contact with Cale. Watch Parker Kligerman. He had nowhere to go. He got up in the loose stuff and made slight contact with the outside wall.
He'd already hit the wall about that hard once before, so didn't seem to hurt him too bad before. Is it that bad for Parker Kligerman? Yeah. He'll probably come to pit road and pull the fenders out. Nothing to lose. Doesn't have any track position.
Yeah, these things take a pretty good beating, don't they?
They do nowadays. Between the safer barrier and the way they're constructed along that right side, you can bounce them off the wall, it seems. Nelson Piquet, another good example of that. He hit the wall off turn 4 and ran up front.
Just as you mentioned, just at the last second, that thing swings around and pops the inside wall with that left front corner.
Crew going to work on the 33 of Cale Gale. They're battling for the 11th spot. You see a little more damage to the right side of that 29. We'll be right back. Welcome back under our 7th caution. This time a little slip up by the 4 of Kyle Larson. Slid up into 29, got into the wall a little bit, a little contact. Riding along with James Busher. He's out in front of the field, and that's not anything new. Kansas Speedway earlier this year.
Advanced at an early run. Hornaday the 9 gets involved with Paulie Haraka. David Starr also involved.
See synchronized spinning. Hornaday saves it once again.
Oh, David Starr just unable to get, to the bottom of the racetrack.
Then it ended up James Busher to the inside of Brad Keselowski, able to take the top spot and the win at Kansas. Goes on to celebrate his first Camping World Truck Series win.
And remember, we talk about how important mile-and-a-half racetracks are. There are 10 on our schedule.
James Busher looking very strong once again here at Kentucky. Herbie Sadler.
Rick listening to the radio with James Busher, and he's got Ty Dillon inside of him, and guess what they're talking about? What happened the last time these two guys were racing each other, which was at Texas a couple weeks ago, and if memory serves me correct, I think there was a little contact on the racetrack, and James Busher has not forgotten it.
I believe that was lap 137 at Texas.
Yeah. Again, this one going 150 laps, 37 remaining. Busher on the outside, Dillon on the inside. In the top 8 right now, James Busher, the only one who has won in 2012.
Ah,
how about that?
He's a dominant truck, though.
He has been very strong. We'll see how he does on this restart.
Tires have had a chance to cycle again. Remember, 4 tires for Busher, 2 for Ty Dillon on their last pit stop.
Brad Keselowski will probably be very aggressive on this start, wanting to be able to stay in the tire tracks of James Busher to get a chance to run at him.
Keselowski on the high side of row number 2, coming back through the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air.
Busher able to clear Ty Dillon before they get to turn 1. As you mentioned, Michael, Brad Keselowski hard into the corner.
Great restart for the 19.
He pushed Busher down toward turn 1, and then Busher squirted out ahead of him, and Ty Dillon is battling hard on the inside.
Boy, drives it hard down in the corner. Will it stick?
Loeffler trying to do the same thing. He slides up the track just a bit. That allows Ron Hornaday to look to the inside.
What a great job by Ty Dillon grabbing that spot away from Keselowski.
Busher checking out on second place. Ty Dillon right now as they are battling for position behind him. Keselowski running in the 3rd position.
Johnny Sauter way low on the track on the front straightaway, trying to grab some of those spots back he lost on pit road.
Crafton, another dominant truck early, been able to get into the tire tracks of that 18 of Loeffler.
Hornaday drives it hard down to the bottom again. Let's see if his truck will stick. Looks good so far.
That's a great view from Joey Coulter's truck, watching Ron Hornaday just about sideways, just barely under control, bouncing around on the inside of Matt Crafton.
And Coulter thought about making it 3 wide for a moment. Look at Hornaday get loose.
Hornaday up the racetrack, and as he gets up the racetrack, Coulter takes advantage of it, goes to the bottom of the track.
We'll see what Sauter's going to do. Is he going to try to push Hornaday by?
Coulter.
Coulter on the bottom of the racetrack to the inside of that 9 of Hornaday. Just in front of him, we're also seeing some side-by-side racing. Crafton on the inside trying to get by the 18 of Jason Leffler.
Was not able to clear Leffler.
Coulter inside of the 9 of Hornaday. Both trucks finding a loose condition. It looks like they're both moving up the racetrack.
Look at the run Johnny Sauter gets, though, to the inside of Coulter.
Look at Jason White. He's got that truck rebounded and running well here late in the going. Saw him on pit road working on it earlier tonight, and now he's running inside the top 10, trying to take that nice spot away from Johnny Sauter.
33 laps of racing to go, now 32. Buscher in front of Ty Dillon by 1.1 seconds. Keselowski in third, Peters fourth, Leffler fifth.
You can kind of see why we wreck a lot. These guys are on the edge of control every lap, 2 and 3 wide.
Coulter able to get by Hornaday. Now he's up beside of Crafton. And Sauter goes to the outside of Hornaday.
What a run Sauter has as he moves to the high side of Hornaday. Hornaday charges into turn number 3 down at the bottom of the racetrack. Side by side for position just in front.
Ron Hornaday hadn't lost one bit of desire. He still runs that truck just as hard as it'll go every lap. Down at the bottom of the racetrack, barely hanging on to it.
Hornaday, a 54-year-old out of Palmdale, California.
He just turned 54 last week, I think.
And so strong in the Truck Series. There's Kyle Larson. Talked about this young man making his start in the Camping World Truck Series, working inside of Miguel Paludo.
It's a battle for the 11th spot.
The last time he was down on the inside of someone, we had a spin off turn 2. So see what Kyle learned from that experience and if he can hang on to it underneath Paludo.
Still a long way to go with this one. 30 laps to go.
Larson a little bit sideways off turn 2. He's clearly a little bit faster than Paludo, but man, finishing that pass is so hard.
Coulter to the inside of the 88. The 88 with the momentum on the outside, but Coulter very strong on the bottom of the racetrack. Looks as though he's going to take that spot away. Here comes the 88 of Crafton now, strong on the outside.
Crafton gets some momentum from the high side.
Jason White looks to the inside of the 22 of Coulter, has to get out of the gas. That's Johnny Sauter in the 13.
Now Coulter gets to the outside of Crafton. He's going to make that pass work and going to bring Sauter with him.
So Sauter gets by the 88.
Kind of reminds you of Daytona and Talladega race, doesn't it? Depends on what line you're in, which way you go.
And how about Crafton jumping back to the outside of Sauter and passing him back?
These guys can't work this out at all.
Now Hornaday looks to the outside of that 13. All over the back bumper. Here comes Jason White in the 23.
Jason's going to jump to the high side. You know Hornaday's going to drive it hard down in the corner. If Jason could just keep his fender up and beside Hornaday, can't quite get it.
Trying to stay on that right rear quarter panel of Hornaday as they went through the turn and down the backstretch. Now Coulter sets his sights on the 18 of Leffler.
While these guys have been back there battling behind him, Coulter's been trying his hardest to grab that spot from Leffler. Can't quite pull it off, and here comes Crafton to make it 3 wide.
Crafton high across the stripe. Going to pass both of them on the outside. Crafton in front of both Coulter and Leffler.
He got such a run because they were side by side, punching such a big hole in the air, and Crafton really took advantage of it.
Rockets up to the 5th spot, battling for 6th behind him. Coulter on the inside, Leffler on the outside. Those two still haven't decided who's going to be 6th.
And Johnny Sauter's liable to come into your picture here because he's lurking behind these guys, and there he comes.
To the outside he goes, trying to take the spot away from Coulter.
He saw Crafton do it on the outside. He's going to take advantage and get by Coulter from the outside.
Now he'll set his sights on that 18 of Jason Leffler. While all of this is going on, Buscher with a 1.8 second lead now over Ty Dillon. Keselowski running just behind Ty Dillon.
Last time by, both Dillon and Keselowski were faster than James Buscher, so could be tightening it up at the front as well.
What a great battle here from 6th on back.
There you see Tim George Jr. not quite up to speed in that 2, but back out on the racetrack after smacking the wall.
Yeah, Tim's being shown 1 lap down now in the 21st spot.
Nose to tail now, the 18, the 13, 22, and 9.
And Jason White, the 23, not that far behind.
The groove was a single groove through practices. Qualifying, we saw him maybe experiment a little bit. And once the green flag dropped for this race, they were all over the track.
It was on.
I think we've seen more passes done, though, on the outside lately than we have the inside.
A little bit of potential debris there on the racetrack as the field goes by. Some tape off of probably the 2 of Tim George Jr.
Yeah, at first I thought it may be a little bit of rubber, but now, as you mentioned, it may look like it looks more like it was a piece of tape.
You know, we talked about Justin Lofton having that crash and going a lap down. He got an Aaron's lucky dog, Phil. He's back on the lead lap, running in the 16th spot. If you're going to win a championship, you have to rebound on your tough days. This has been a tough day, but man, what a rebound for this team.
You talk championships, we look at points as they run. Ty Dillon 4 back from that 17 of Timothy Peters, and Justin Lofton back there in 3rd as they run. James Busher in front of the field, 4th in the points, looking strong tonight. Still out in front of the field at Kentucky Speedway. It's the 31 of James Busher. He has a 2.1 second lead over Ty Dillon running 2nd. Keselowski's 3rd. Crafton and Peters battling for the 4th and 5th spot. Crafton has it, Peters back in 5th. Johnny Sauter, Joey Coulter, Jason Leffler, Ron Hornaday, and Jason White, your top 10.
Battle for 2nd heating up. Ty Dillon, the 3 truck, has it. Brad Keselowski has chased him down now. Closed it within 3 or 4 truck lengths.
About a 1/10 of a second separated the 2 of those trucks as they crossed the stripe the last time by.
And a real fast truck. You can see here Joey Coulter has been working on Johnny Sauter. He's faster than Sauter. If he can make this move, he might have a chance to run up there and do battle with Crafton and Keselowski, because I think Crafton and Keselowski, especially Keselowski, is faster than Ty Dillon and could be a player in this thing before it's over. He could get around Dillon, maybe get up there and challenge Busher.
And man, what a caution would do now to change the complexion.
Fuel shouldn't be an issue. Most of the field on pit road at lap 104. We talked about the pit window being anywhere from 50 to 55 laps.
And we had another caution after that, so they got a little bit of a cushion as well.
Peters in the 17 running 5th. Sauter running in the 6th spot. Coulter is 7th. We see Sauter and Coulter on the screen. Sauter trying to hold off that 22. We've seen numerous times the 22 of Coulter either get to the inside or outside, but hasn't been able to complete the pass.
What about my fantasy pick of Coulter? I tell you, he's just going to be right there and give you a chance to win, at least. Lurking right outside that top 5, faster than Sauter right now. If he could grab that spot, he's still got a shot at this baby with a caution or 2.
Yeah, you're doing good. Your fantasy pick's running 7th. I mean, that's pretty good.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Give props to Chris Devoda. She was the one who thought James Busher might be able to get to victory lane, but still a lot of racing to go. 16 laps here at Kentucky. Ty Dillon running 2nd. Keselowski is 3rd. See Jason White just in front of the 4 of Kyle Larson.
That's a battle for the 10th spot right there. Kyle Larson had dropped back behind Miguel Paludo, and now he's gotten back by Paludo, going after Jason White for the 10th spot. The top 10 in your first race would be a good feather in his cap.
Very impressive run for the 4 of Kyle Larson. Still on the lead lap, Clay Greenfield in the 68, Paulie Haraka in the 5. Those guys are running 18th and 17th respectively.
Yeah, good solid top 20 runs for those trucks if they can finish it off here to the end.
Justin Lofton involved in an incident earlier tonight. He's running in the 16th spot with some damage to that truck.
He's done a great job of soldiering on. He could have easily finished about 28th, 30th.
Once again, we're seeing Coulter and Sauter run side by side. Coulter just can't complete that pass. Sauter with the momentum, able to get back by. Cale Gale limping along in the 33.
Yeah, Cale's in the 25th spot after that incident off at turn number 2.
He's 8 laps down to the field. And Ty Dillon still trying to hold on to that 2nd spot, but the competitor in 3rd is closing the gap, Ray.
Rick, a couple things to keep in mind. Ty came on the radio just a little while ago and said, guys, I'm really sorry we didn't get the full practice today. Remember, with that engine change, they lost about an hour today. But realize when they came down pit road the last time, they were in 10th position, and the right side tires let them go out in 1st. So it was a track position game, and so far Ty said the truck feels pretty steady. No difference whether they had 2 or 4, and that track position has meant everything.
So Ty Dillon running second. Keselowski is third. We want to take a 60-second break and be right back for the final 10 laps of racing from Kentucky. Ten laps of racing remain in the University of Northwestern Ohio 225 for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, Kentucky Speedway.
University of Northwestern Ohio is a great sponsor of this truck series. Good to see them on this race. Really great sponsors, partners in the truck series. Exide Batteries on the truck leading the race, and makes this world go around. And you love to see those guys sign up to use this NASCAR sport as a way to market their goods and services.
James Buscher's best finish at Kentucky Speedway, third a year ago. Looking to improve on that as we see second and third, Ty Dillon and Brad Keselowski.
And when you're running second, the leader's just right there. You just can't quite get there. That's so frustrating. But what a job the team did. They gave him that track position, and Ty was good enough to take advantage of it. That's a great team effort for the 3 truck tonight. And we talked about it in the pregame. The crew chiefs will be a big difference maker here tonight, and that crew chief and that team there certainly pulled the job off.
They made up 9 spots the last time they were on pit road with a strategy move on pit road to get Ty Dillon off first.
And Michael Shelton, James Buscher's crew chief, he went with 4 tires because they had the fastest truck. They had the track position coming into the pits. He came out close enough to the lead. He used those 4 tires to get the lead, and then he's been steadily, he opens it up to about 2 seconds, and then they run the same speed lap after lap.
And you know,
these two can't settle it.
No, it's going to go all the way to the finish, it looks like.
I think so.
Johnny just knows if he keeps a little bit of pressure on Coulter down on the bottom that he's not going to be able to make the move. And Johnny's a veteran. He knows how to make it tough on Joey.
It's been obvious. It's really easy to get beside somebody here. Really easy. Completing the pass has become pretty difficult.
You know, when they threw the green flag for this restart that ultimately got James Buscher the lead that looks like could get him the win, he was on it. He was aggressive. He passed those trucks on the first turn and got the lead, and he never looked back. Well, he might have looked back.
What about the 10 truck length lead Ty Dillon had on Brad Keselowski just 1 lap ago?
Not anymore. Brad Keselowski all over the back bumper, the 3 of Ty Dillon. Now they're coming up into slower lap traffic. Let's see if Ty Dillon is able to negotiate by that 84 if Chris Fontaine does it well. Here comes the 19 of Keselowski down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Ty had to chase it up the hill a little bit. It opens up the door for Keselowski.
On the inside.
There you hear Mike Dillon.
All right, we got a big race here. Remember the big picture.
Telling him inside. 5 laps of racing to go. Keselowski to the inside of the 3.
Still half back.
I hope he tells him he's not half back anymore because he was up
back
beside.
on the outside. Ty Dillon takes the spot back away from Keselowski.
Brad didn't need a spotter. Brad could feel, he knew that he was coming back on the outside.
But he's going to try the same thing. We saw him make a strong move on the bottom off turn 4. Makes the same move and up beside Ty Dillon.
A good run once again for Keselowski. 4 laps of racing to go. Battling for the 2nd spot. Ty Dillon has it. Keselowski wants it.
Okay, that's allowing Matt Crafton to catch up, though. Matt's not that far behind this side-by-side battle for 2nd.
Keselowski closing the gap. Running in the 4th spot, Matt Crafton.
These guys get side-by-side again. We've seen what Matt Crafton will do when somebody gets side-by-side in front of him.
Keeping the momentum up on the high side of the racetrack is that 88 of Crafton. Can he get a strong run once again and battle for the 2nd spot?
I think he might need those guys to get side-by-side first, though.
3 laps of racing to go. James Buscher with a 3.2-second lead over Ty Dillon. The battle for 2nd continues. Here comes Keselowski to the inside again.
Watch Crafton. Watch the run. Crafton gets now. Let's see if he catches him at the right spot, guys.
This time Keselowski with a strong run into turn number 3. Clears that 3 of Ty Dillon. Moves up the racetrack to take 2nd away.
They're going to go side by side again, and you said it, Phil. Watch Matt Crafton. He's going to try to make it 3 wide on these guys.
2 laps of racing to go. The battle for 2nd continues. Ty Dillon on the bottom of the track. Brad Keselowski on the high side. Here comes Crafton.
Crafton's going to jump right to the outside of Ty Dillon. Ty pulls up to block him.
Crafton all over the back bumper of that 3. That is for the 3rd spot. Coming through 3 and 4. Out in front of this field, it's the 31 of James Buscher. He'll see the white flag one more time around for the 31.
Matt Crafton all over the back of Ty Dillon. He's got about 3/4 of a lap to try to get it done.
Keselowski to the bottom of the racetrack, holding on to second. The battle for third. Ty Dillon just in front of the 88 of Matt Crafton. Keselowski holding on to second. Now here comes the 3 of Ty Dillon. A hard charge by the 88. The battle for third is on, working through 3 and 4 as they battle for position. It's going to be the 31, James Busher, winning at Kentucky.
They're going to be side by side for that third spot.
Very close. It goes to Ty Dillon for third. Keselowski has second. Crafton's going to finish in the 4th spot. Peters is 5th. Sauter and Coulter, your top 7.
Sauter held off Coulter for 30 laps. They ran side by side, in and out of traffic, and Sauter held him off.
Awesome.
And a top 10 finish for Kyle Larson in his debut in the Camping World Truck Series.
Well, we've had a repeat winner in 2012.
See what James is doing there?
Winner.
He's taking all the brake off the front of the, off the back of the truck and putting it on the front so he can give us a little bit of a show here.
You think he's going to burn that one down a little bit?
I think so. I think that was what that move was all about.
James Busher goes for his 2nd Camping World Truck Series win in just his 80th start. And let's hear from the winning owner. He's with Ray.
Well, it's Steve Turner. Steve, you guys have put a lot of resources and effort into your Truck Series program. You're starting to show another victory tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, teams are working real hard in the off-season to try to get our mile-and-a-half program better. We struggled last year a lot on it. They've done an excellent job with all 3 of the trucks, and I'm real proud of them.
Let's go celebrate in Victory Lane.
Sounds great. Thank you.
That's owner Steve Turner, another truck in Victory Lane tonight in Kentucky.
That's 2 wins in a row for Turner Motorsports, and nationwide last week at Elkhart Lake.
How about the season James Busher is having? Won at Daytona in the Nationwide Series to start the year. Now 2 Camping World Truck Series wins, and he is up into the top 4 in the points.
He got beat by his wife, though, in the legend car we saw in the setup show.
I can't believe you brought that up just after he won here in Kentucky. But, of course, it stayed in the family. Congratulations, James Busher. We're going to hear from him when we come back to Kentucky. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World and Good Sam. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, and roadside assistance. And by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. Let's hear from the guy who was able to finish in the 3rd spot, Ty Dillon, standing by with Ray.
Well, sometimes you got to take a bad day and turn it into a good one. You guys certainly did that after an engine change and a little pit strategy, but how worried were you on the fuel?
I wasn't worried. The crew chief, he was confident on the radio, but I think he was a little worried on the box. But I can't thank my guys in ECR enough. We had to put together a long day. We kind of blew up a motor there in practice, made a little mistake, and the guys got me out there fast enough where I could run the end of 2nd practice, and we dialed our truck in pretty good. So, man, I can't thank Bass Pro Shop, Chevy, Unoh for sponsoring the race and sponsoring us, Tag Heuer, Charlie One Horse for the cool hats that me and my brother sporting around, Advocare for the Rehydrate, my brother's sponsor. Just, I'm really happy to come out with a good finish. It's been a long day. My guys worked their butts off, and just a good fun finish, and it shows what our team's made up for this year.
Good pit strategy puts Ty Dillon right back in the points race. And then guess what? James Busher has ruined our streak of consecutive different winners. Let's hear from him in Victory Lane.
Well, James Busher climbs out Victory Lane in Kentucky, win number 2 of the season. James. James Busher, congratulations. I was talking to your owner, Steve Turner. You guys have really worked on your mile-and-a-half program. It's showing another dominant truck tonight. Win number 2 for the season. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. You know, I got to thank all these guys. I guess that's 3 races in a row, closing laps of a race for me. Trucks or Nationwide Series that I've had an opportunity to win. So hats off to all these guys on this Turner Motorsports team and everybody at the shop that builds these trucks, chassis shop, body shop, engine shop, Hendrick Motorsports. Everybody does a great job for us, and finally got XI batteries to Victory Lane. We've had some close ones with them, but we've never been able to get them there. So really happy to close off the deal today. I closing laps of the race, I was just thinking, what is going to go wrong, because something normally does, and you know, good day.
Talk about the last restart. You guys were out front. You came to pit road, you got 4 tires. Some other your competitors got 2 tires, but you're becoming a little bit of a master on these restarts. A couple good restarts tonight got you some really good track position.
Yeah, restarts are key. You know, everybody's bunched up. You might as well take advantage is the way I look at it. You can pass more of them at one time. So, you know, we had some good restarts. When we were on the bottom, restart in third, we were able to take advantage and get to the lead both times. So, with the exception of the initial start. So, you know, that's something I've worked on and try to be pretty good at. You know, just it's the best opportunity to pass in my eyes. So, you know, I'm just really proud of everybody at this Turner Motorsports team. And my wife told me this morning she found the picture of the trophy on Twitter or something and told me that she wanted it. So, got to make the wife happy, and we got to victory lane. And got to thank Excite Batteries, Amway, Kawicki, Progenics, you know, ABF, FOE, everybody that supports this team and my nationwide team as well.
And James Busher still 4th in points, but within 9 points of the leader.
And how about we have 3 drivers that are within 4 points of each other?
What a point race.
Crazy.
They're just in an argument over this points battle.
And there's the wife that's happy. Happy wife, happy life. I think I've heard that before. She wanted the trophy. She's going to get it. Saturday, immediately following the Cup race from Kentucky, turn to speed for comprehensive post-race coverage. JR, Kenny Wallace, and Jeff Hammond celebrate with the winner. They will debate and analyze all the action. That's NASCAR Victory Lane immediately following the race right here on Speed. Busher celebrating win number 2 in the Camping World Truck Series. Victory Lane still abuzz with media and photo opportunities for that young man. Want to take a look at our Ram Guts and Glory tonight.
This is a pretty good call, Rick. Watch the job this Ford truck with Kyle Larson does, squirting through that little hole and then diving to the bottom and clearing that crash.
There's another view of it. Just slips by the 11 up top. And remember, lost the majority of his practice due to an engine change. Had to go all the way back for the start of the race. Start from the back of the pack.
Made the most of his run today. Finishes in the top 10. Let's go down trackside to Ray.
How about a 5th top 5 for the season for Timothy Peters, and that puts him in the point leader position. When is this 17 team going to be ready to win a race?
We keep running like we did tonight. I feel like win is right around the corner. You know, definitely where we finished is leaps and bounds from how we unloaded this morning. We were really bad. So, you know, Butch Hilton and all the guys here made great adjustments. Worked really hard in this heat. It's been really hot. So, you know, we appreciate the fans coming out. Toyota sticking with us. And a good week, Ray. You know, we able to finish good and leave here with a points lead. And, you know, my wife and I expecting our first child. Get to go in a couple of weeks and find out what we're having. So it's going to be a great week, great night.
All right, congratulations. Timothy Peters with a great night. Hermie?
Well, Matt Crafton also got a top 5. You guys were racing out there. It looked like you at Daytona, pulling that and passing on the outside. Great racing and a great run for you guys.
It was awesome. I mean, awesome run. I mean, for whole Thor Sport, I looked at Johnny and had a really good run. This Menards Toyota Tundra was so good. I mean, just need a track position right there at the end. That one restart, second restart, when they lagged back on me and got that run on me, put me 4 wide going in turn 1, and we played catch up from the rest there from there on and drove back to third. But we needed a yellow right there at the end. I was screaming for the debris down there. There was truthfully debris, but they're never going to listen to the guy that's actually running the guys down for the debris caution. But I can't thank these guys enough from what they've done this year, switching all these trucks over, these Toyota Tundras. We've got something for them now. We're going to win some races.
That's Matt Crafton with the top 5. Ray?
Hermie, from East Cars to 410 sprints, Kyle Larson will drive anything, and tonight you come home in your very first start with a top 10. You satisfied?
Oh, yeah. I didn't get much practice, so to get a top 10 in my first truck start with really no laps before today is really satisfying. You know, Trent Owens gave me a great truck with, you know, I got to thank Turner Motorsports and Chip Ganassi for giving me the opportunity to run tonight, and you know, big thanks to those guys, and you know, hope we can get some more races throughout the year.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yeah, I'm almost 20 years old, so I have a driver's license, but got a few speeding tickets, so you know, hope we don't get my license taken away. But yeah, I'm 20. I know I look like I'm probably 12, but I'm almost 20.
Well, and not only is he 20, guys, but he's also winning lots of races, and he has a great debut tonight, finishing 10th.
How fun was that?
Yeah.
For a good kid.
You know, his crew chief, Trent Owens, just won the last race in the Nationwide Series at Road America. Very impressive. 2 performances back-to-back for Trent Owens. Welcome back. Celebration continuing in Victory Lane. Again, it's win number 2 in the 2012 season for James Busher. Take a look at how the points have shaken out now after 8 races. Timothy Peters on top. We've got a tie for second.
It's a runaway.
Ty Dillon and Justin Lofton both 4 points back. James Busher just 9 points back. And again, with the new point system, that's positions. 9 positions back is all James Busher is.
But a great recovery by Justin Lofton. We saw how much damage he had to his truck and ended up with a 14th place finish. He could be a whole lot farther behind.
Let's hear from a guy who wasn't running for points tonight. Brad Keselowski is with Ray Dunlap.
Brad Keselowski brings it home second. Started 17th. Are you pleased with the day?
No. I mean, I'm pleased with the effort. We just didn't have quite the speed we were looking to have with, you know, the B-car team here. And we're working on it. Parker looked like he was really good. I don't know what happened to him, but towards the end we made some good moves, you know, on track and on pit road, gained some spots, but just needed a little bit more speed to run with James. And second's good, but I mean, I want to win so bad here, and I still got that goose egg on your sheet, and I want to remove that. So keep working on it. And I know the guys on my team are working really hard for giving me some fast trucks, whether it's this 19 or the 29 at Parker's, and we'll keep doing what we can.
All right, Pocono and Bristol coming up next for Brad K.
Got to be licking his chops for both those places. Go there and try to remove that goose egg, as he said.
A very hot day at Kentucky Speedway, and the things heated up after we saw the green flag fly. A little carnage for some of the trucks that we would have expected to run better. And in the end, it was a repeat winner for the first time in 2012. James Busher wins at Kentucky Speedway.